And now, live from the man cave, POD, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night Liberation Day rant with your co-hosts, Patrick Acton's in the house. Our friend Norris Hardeman's here. Your ever-present earwig, the real Tim Allen himself. He's behind the scenes, making everything work.
I gave me the A this week.
Yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is My Brain, and now your host, Jeremy Scott Gibbs.
Really uncomfortably long.
All right, let's have some fun.
An extremely uncomfortably long pause there, Larry, before you announced me.
I'll tell you what, it is so glad
Hey.
to have I'm so happy to have a president.
You know what? I'd be glad. I'd be happy
Finish a
because if your
sentence
microphone
that makes
wasn't on the
sense.
floor,
Yeah,
I'd be happy with that.
that's what that sound is.
Yeah, I muted it so he could,
Oh, is that what that was?
He
no,
dropped his
it
mic
was
as he
actually it
turned
was
around.
the other microphones got one of the microphones on the camera. So every time somebody was stepping, the camera was picking up the movement of it. But look at that! That man cave shot is
Yeah, I was gonna
quite
pull that
delicious.
Up. I meant to go to that, but we were having some technical
Sweet.
issues.
Oh,
right
yeah.
at the
Is
last
that a new
second.
camera?
no.
Oh, hey, we got some media coming up later. That's huge.
Okay,
So
it's ready to go.
Let me check that out.
That's a lot of clapping there, buddy.
Yeah, it is. There was a lot of clapping going on yesterday,
Oh yeah,
and a lot of shouting. And a lot
Dude,
lots of
And a
lots
lot of
of
liberal
happiness.
tears today. The Democrats are in full meltdown mode
Yep.
about everything,
They're in meltdown mode all the time.
especially
Feedback? Did you
about
share
all
feedback?
the J6
I got it.
hostages getting released.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Did you see? I was waiting for Trump, and we'll get into this, but I was waiting for him to, like, at least turn around and acknowledge that the Biden administration was still in office and maybe they didn't mess it up. Like, Even before I was in office, the prisoners were released, and to their credit, the former administration didn't mess it up. I was waiting for something,
Right.
but he was extremely cordial. We're going to dive into all that
On
tonight.
this Liberation Day rant +1.
+1. So we're here.
Liberation Day. Liberation Year +1.
Yeah. What are you looking for, Norris?
Paper.
Larry's
going
got
with
it.
the-
Larry stole it from you.
What the hell, Larry?
Now it's got his popcorn fingers on it.
So we got a peanut gallery downstairs. We might hear during the show at some time. If
Oh, too much. The grandkids came over.
Yeah.
It's so freaking cold. If you're not here in Michigan, you're probably still cold if you live in the United States. But it's cold everywhere.
Yeah, snowing in New
Except
Orleans.
for LA, it's still on
pretty-
fire.
It's
pretty
hell.
toasty.
Yeah, New Orleans, everywhere. It's just cold. So my grandkids have had today off, yesterday off, and of course they had Monday off. Or
Probably have
Where-
tomorrow off, too.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember school being that wimpy when we were back going.
no, dude, no.
No.
There's been some
I
memes.
froze my ass off many a day.
Exactly. There's been some memes that people have posted where they're like, kids today, like a light dusting of snow, school's out.
Yeah.
Us back then, there's 4 feet of snow.
Exactly.
We shoveled out the door.
Yeah.
You used to hear the old people say that, we traveled uphill both ways and all that stuff. And you're
In
like,
the snow,
okay.
no
And,
shoes. Yeah.
and you know what? Now in retrospect, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember snow drifts up to my shoulders waiting for the bus stop.
What was the year of the big snowstorm? Was that 76?
76 or 78. One of the two.
76 or 78, whatever
Yeah.
year it was. I got up, I put the garage door up, and I could see how deep the snow was, and I'm like, yeah, no school today. So I got on my old man's garden tractor and started plowing the driveway. I'm plowing it, and I looked, and the school bus pulls up,
Oh wow.
and the lady opens the door, and I wave, and then off she goes. Not a single student.
Nobody wanted it. Yeah.
Nobody was there.
I'll tell you, it's changed so much because when I was in school, I graduated in 91. We still had guys that brought their guns to school, and they
they're
knew
in the window of the back of the truck
Well, we didn't have it
We did.
that much,
out in Oregon.
but at the same time, they would definitely
We did.
they knew
I did. I mean, I graduated class of 82 from Walled Lake Western High School, and we had gun racks and pickup trucks.
Our guys didn't necessarily put them in the gun racks. They
Yeah.
had them in the truck. They usually would put them behind their seat, the bench seats. But either way, at the private school that I went to, they knew if the 15th fell on a weekday, they just kind of let the girls do whatever they wanted because they knew most of the boys in the high school were not going to be there.
God.
And those of us that didn't actively hunt,
Yeah.
who were still they're like, "Are you coming tomorrow? We know you don't hunt a lot." And I'm like, "No, I'll be taking the day off."
I might be out fishing, but
I gave him over to Larry, and instead of Larry putting him on the floor after he took his towels, he put him right.
In front of the camera. Oops.
This guy,
Larry.
freaking Larry. Okay, pork chops and au gratin potatoes
Yum,
today
yum.
with signature salad, and I did write that on my notes, even though I forgot to put it.
okay.
I thought those were all rotten potatoes.
It's on my. I got it. I got it on my
It's
on
in
my
there. You hand
official
over there.
page.
It's in
Yeah, so there's that. Patrick wanted us to see that there are now that Tim's over making adjustments live, and that's the camera you're on.
Yes, I know, so they can't see me.
Oh, all right, that makes sense. Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect shot.
Look at
And you
that.
throw your hands up in there.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Let's see this one. What am I on? Brave. Okay. Let's pull that up real quick. Just so you know, the favorite drink on the left. No, this would be the favorite drink on the right.
Yeah.
Because we're drinking the liberal
Right,
tears.
right.
Exactly.
there.
Now, do you know the fermentation content on that? Because a lot of those liberals are pretty stale. So
It's probably pretty low.
It's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it not even near beer?
No, it's kind of like
It tastes like skunky beer out of the trunk that's been that
3-2 beer. Yeah.
you found a can in there from 4 years ago and you pull it out and it's just nasty.
nasty.
3-2. I was going to say closer, maybe a 2-5.
What's that
Yeah.
shit that people used to drink back? White Claw, not White Claw. What was that before that?
Yeah, that shit.
That fake beer or that crap?
Oh, duels?
No,
What, Zimas?
Zimas. Yeah, that's what.
You know, the last time I had one of those, my buddy was like, "Oh man, I didn't get you anything to drink because I don't drink regular beer." And he's like, "I got a Zima." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "No, watch this." And he threw a green apple Jolly Rancher in there, and we let it bubble for like 5 minutes. And I drank. I was like, "That's actually pretty good." That was actually pretty good.
Basically a fruity soda.
Yeah, exactly. So there's your liberal tears for all of us to drink and then spit out.
Yes.
So there we go. Let's
There's
get
rivers of that shit flowing.
dude. We're gonna get into all this stuff. I love it. Let's do. Yeah, I'm knowing the notification that I'm on the air. Thank you. My phone let me know.
Your phone let you know you're doing a show?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Did I welcome everybody to the show? Or am I just that much of a non-compliant guy?
In chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, who we got today chatting?
I
I'm
just
not
see Mr.
monitoring
Graham, but
today.
there's a bunch of other people watching. If I didn't post the thing in Facebook is giving us issues. I don't know what their deal is, but we have not been able to post the live stream to Facebook. So it is what it is.
I
over
thought
there.
Zuckerberg was going to be easier to work with these days.
Well,
He's trying to.
He was
know,
on
it's-
Rogan
it-
and everything.
it's just like I chalk it up to
Fake news.
well, but I also chalk it up to being similar to Elon's struggles over at Twitter, to where there are people that have been banned since he's been in there, and then he goes and he has to actually do the investigation and go, why is this person banned? And then he comes out and goes, they're unbanned. You know, they've got algorithms still in
Algorithm's
place,
still working.
and
yeah.
they've got he got rid of 80% of his staff there.
Yeah.
But he also has, there's some rogue elements going on. And then you take a Zuckerberg who's not doing cleaning house and just says he's more open. He's not going to change until somebody else takes it over. The algorithms are not going to change for Facebook.
I trust nobody.
True.
Yeah.
Did you see any of Zuckerberg's Rogan interview?
I did not see that one yet.
I watched the whole thing.
And
he actually, and at the very end, it was funny. Rogan ends up basically giving him a tongue-in-cheek, backhanded jab, when he's talking about somebody else putting on a show and saying they're changing and we're supposed to accept them as, oh, now you're one of the good old boys.
oh yeah, now you're honorable.
Yeah, and he gives him a look, and it's right at the end. Zuckerberg is always all of course realizing he's talking about him too. But no, he put on a pretty good face.
Okay.
And but the thing is one thing that Joe made a point of is the regulation at Facebook. 3 billion people use that platform on a daily basis.
Right.
And a billion, that's a lot. I mean, you know how long a million seconds is? A million seconds is 11 days. Do you know how long a billion seconds is? 31 effing years. So that's a lot of people to regulate. And he said sometimes just our algorithms just do stuff that we can't undo fast enough.
Well, how about we not have the algorithm?
Well, then you have zero regulation whatsoever. And
There you go.
But
Anytime you have
yes,
Al
thank you,
Gore
Norris.
and
You got the
ism, it's a
solution.
bad thing.
Congratulations.
That's true.
What's that?
Go tell him.
If Al
But then
Gore
that's-
is involved,
that- yeah,
it's a
but then
bad
it's-
thing.
Easy solution
But the
from
minute,
Norris.
but the minute you get rid of all regulations, then you have child porn. You have
Well, granted,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do
Yeah.
something, but
You have to watch
the
the interview.
algorithms are like overkill,
No,
right?
you have to watch the interview and why the algorithms were put in place and who the pressure was that he was being given to do it and how it sounded right in the beginning, and then the pressures became. There was things they wanted that they wanted him to take down that he did say no to.
Okay.
So
all right. So he's trying,
And he did, and he
you-
didn't give him to China, so I'll
and
give
you-
him a little.
And you know
credit
what?
there.
There's been a lot of people that have awakened,
Not
Mhm.
very.
red pill.
who were woke but now are awake and have are good turning out to be good people. And the thing I keep saying to everybody, friends included, private conversations, I say, just keep watching the fruit.
Yep.
It's all about the fruit.
Not the fruits. And that's in California.
Yep.
Well, and a lot of people have woken up globally, you know, on multiple levels. Do you know that Bible sales have gone up tenfold?
Right. Yeah.
Just in the last 6 months.
Yep.
Nice.
It's phenomenal.
It's a
movement.
resurgence. All right, let's get into this. And I'm going to do, I know how I have to do this now. I remember what I was doing.
Jeff GMI.
Jeff Graham, Mr. Graham.
Why are you putting yourself on your back wall?
I am not trying to.
Oh, that's what you're doing. You're pulling up a file. Oh, that's right. We have
Yes, we were working on this. And just so you guys know, this is the last show that Mom was able to be at. I think you got to turn that microphone on the deck, Tim, whatever that line is.
Here it goes. Oh, watch it.
That's microaggression.
There you go. I think you got to turn that microphone on the deck.
When I
Oh,
do
whatever
George's,
that line
listen,
is.
man, go ahead, answer.
This is my brain. Notice.
All right. I'm almost there. I wasn't
There it goes.
totally cued.
That's why I love it. I love it. All right, let's
There
do
you
this.
go.
Disclaimers.
This was the last time Mom was on the
When
show.
I
So
do
people out
George,
there,
it's been a long time. I will go through
My
and
brain knows.
just pick for everybody. That's
I'm
all.
almost there. I wasn't totally cued.
That's why I love it. I love it. All right, let's
There
do
you
this.
go.
Disclaimers.
This was the last
Time.
time Mom was on the show.
I
So
do.
people out- Why are we looping?
You have the show open on your computer playing behind that in another tab.
No.
Yeah.
This thing did an update.
So it's pulling in the source of our stream right now, live, as well as the show you're trying to play. Make sure you don't have two tabs open. What do you
I
have
do
playing?
have two tabs open, and it shouldn't have done this. An update came through.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have nothing. Now I hit play. And I've got nothing.
I turned you down.
Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, I'll
Especially
rewind
the
it.
part about one nation under God.
Man.
I am. That is the way I feel.
Shit.
Dude, I'm so sorry. Listen, I will
By
change.
the border.
I will change.
Georgie?
Listen, I will change it up, and I will do. You know what? It's show me your papers. I will do German all night, and that won't be aggressive.
By
To
the
you.
border, you pass the border, you show the passport, still Canadian ask you, where are you coming from? That is
The minute I advance it forward, I'm going to be too far into it.
I know. Just let it roll.
That's microaggression too.
We'll get it dialed in one of these days. But here's
I
the
do
disclaimer
George's
from
accent-
Grandma Connie.
When I do George's accents, because I love George and I love doing that accent. And long before I met George, I love doing that quasi, because it's got that
Oh, shut
Russian
up.
flair to it, that Eastern Slavic.
That guy does
and
talk
I
a lot,
don't
doesn't
suspect
he?
the answer.
He does.
My brain. Notice.
Yeah, there it is.
This podcast is mostly raw and unfiltered and completely politically incorrect.
Completely.
We say Merry Christmas
Mm-hmm.
and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service.
Thank you.
you. We only recognize two genders.
Dangle, no dangle. Wait.
It's law now.
Yes.
A good kick in the balls will solve your gender confusion. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Is that what it says on his hat? A good kick in the balls will solve your gender confusion.
All right, continue.
All right. As adults, we enjoy adult beverages.
Cheers.
Cheers. We cuss, but we do not swear. Wait
What?
a minute. We
What the-
cuss.
We've already
All
cussed
right,
today.
we cuss. We do not curse or swear. We
Mhm.
love Jesus, but hate religion and religious hypocrites. If any of this offends you,
You should have left by now.
please
Yeah.
leave. Goodbye.
I have one downstairs that says, "Okay, so I cuss a
Yep. We'll end it there. And then what we'll do is I'll cut back to this. Boom, disclaimers, and we will go to the disclaimer page. I updated or upgraded some of the equipment here, and I'm still not as proficient as when it wasn't upgraded. So it's
Yeah,
all good.
I still don't know how to get to your tabletop shot. Your webcam shot.
This one?
Yeah.
That's your. No, it's not on the little deck. It's on the main deck. I
Was it
fed it
really?
into the main deck. Yeah, it should be number 5.
Oh, hey, there's a new shot for
Number
the show.
5.
Wow. Yeah, we got a nice big glare in the
Number
middle
5.
of the.
I like. Yeah. Well, it's actually
all
two
those starry
dots.
dings. Oh,
It is.
it works into the graphics quite nicely, actually.
Yeah. It's
right.
pretty cool.
There we
Anyways,
go.
there's a shot. What I
Yeah.
have set up now is when Larry bugs me, which is quite frequent. You guys know that. When Larry bugs me about having a laptop so that he can not pay attention to me on a laptop versus not paying attention to me on his phone, I can plug that now into a new piece of equipment that's under the table. And so to test it, I threw this little webcam, not webcam, but this GoPro.
Clap your hands once. There's a
little
fucking
delay.
Yeah. Flag.
Yeah.
Huge, dude.
Huge.
I don't think it.
Huge.
Well, that's a good thing. That way, if he says anything inappropriate, we can edit
We can
it
delay
out.
him.
Get the tape delay.
It's nice.
The dump button.
Yeah. Dump the
Anyways,
commercial. Dump commercial.
don't go to. Okay, we'll do it live. Do it live.
So that's actually a laptop, is what you got logged in.
Yeah, and so that won't matter about lag time necessarily for
That's
that
true.
one
That's true.
because
Unless you run a video.
Yeah, but then they should be lagged together.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. There are some adjustments I can make.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Disclaimers.
Norris.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears. Bears will fucking kill you.
Bears kill you. F-bomb. Mr. Acton.
I would challenge you to a battle of wits, but I can clearly see that you are unarmed.
The no armed man.
Unarmed, no arms.
Larry.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Period. That's the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. It was issued on December 15th, 1791. And it expires when hell freezes over. And right now, it is safe from theft and encroachment because Donald Trump is president.
I was going to say it was reissued again yesterday.
Yeah.
January 20th, 2025.
Dude, he just ripped through those executive orders.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Speaking
I
of
love
that, there is a bill put forward in the Senate for national reciprocity.
Meaning?
Really?
Yeah.
Meaning
that you can carry in every freaking state.
Oh,
that
okay.
it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. You should be able to.
But now there's a possibility it may actually pass.
And the reality is, there should be no.
Well, it should be there.
There should be no laws whatsoever, according to the Constitution. It literally says what Larry just read: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
And
Any infringement is automatically unconstitutional.
Automatically. And that's what people need to realize. I include the comma in the period for a reason.
Right.
Because the comma designates that you're moving on to the next subject. It's the same with the First Amendment. The First Amendment secures several rights as well. All right. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, that is a statement telling governors that they're, it's necessary for them to create a militia to protect their state.
Right.
Right. And the next is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Notice the framers said that the right of the people, not the people in the militia.
No, the right of the people.
Right. They on purpose left the word militia out of the second half.
But you do know that they passed legislation here in Michigan that's basically flies in the face of that.
Oh, 100%.
Things like you cannot be within 100 yards of a polling place.
Yeah.
Now that includes
strip clubs,
a drop box.
Right.
You might not even know the drop box
Different
is there.
poll.
You
Right.
walk by
Right.
it and you're
that was by design.
That's by design. And again, I go extreme libertarian on this, where I don't think there should be any infringement whatsoever at all
Right.
including
It's-
criminals.
it
because
says-
you know what? An armed society is a polite society, and the criminal that walks
Well, the
around
criminal already has a gun.
and knows that exactly, the criminals already have the gun, but they will not be as emboldened to steal, kill, and destroy as the devil does if they know that everybody is capable of pulling out a firearm and
Sure.
defending themselves.
That's why they go to
Well,
that's why they go to
right
gun-free
there,
zones.
right there,
Exactly.
it's clear. There's no exceptions there.
No.
There, it doesn't say except for criminals.
Correct.
It doesn't say except for people with purple hair and green lips.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It doesn't say except for people that dye their hair
You want
funny colors like
Yep.
Tim.
Doesn't say except for
Tim's
schools.
clean now.
Doesn't say except
Yeah.
for churches.
Yeah, my hair hasn't been colored in quite a while. It's actually trimmed.
I know, but I was picking on
Well,
you
I'll tell you,
anyway.
my buddy just came back into town. He moved southward. I won't give too much disclaimers. He's a buddy, but I don't want to air his stuff. But he never was able to buy a firearm up here because you have to do it whatever. He's like, I got 4 guns now that I'm down south.
Yeah.
You know, he started up a farm. He's like, I got this, I got this, I got this. He's like, I got 410 with a scope. He's like, I'm like, geez, Johnny, 410.
Right.
Or whatever. Not 410. 30-06.
Oh, and then the speaking of the expiration
Yeah.
date, the hell freezing over. Did you hear about the Upers who went to hell? Yeah.
Did
you hear
they
this
drove
one?
all the way down?
No. The Upers that went to hell, they were down there hooping and hollering, and the devil was like, "What? You're not burning up here? No, we're from the UP. This is like going to a vacation." So he cranks it up even hotter, and they are hooping and hollering even hotter. He's, "Woo, this is amazing!" Finally, the devil says, "Well, okay, fine. You like it hot?" He cranks it all the way down to -0 Kelvin, and they cheer as loud as possible. Woo! Yeah, right on. What are you talking about? Well, hell froze over. The Lions finally won the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Too soon?
Too soon. They shat the bed. I think this one's kind of appropriate from the Gipper. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for. I think there's a guy that said fight, fight, fight. Is
That's
that
right.
right?
They put it on a
Protected and handed on to them to do the same. Ronald Reagan, the Gipper.
You mean that guy?
That guy?
That guy?
That guy right there. Oh, yeah. The Donald. We have the Donald.
I think the most
The Donald Duck.
entertaining
Where are we at?
part.
Here.
Say
Oh,
that.
oh, Tim, do that one. We have the Donald Duck now.
Over?
Yes.
Dude, I got to figure out how you do it.
Number 5.
Well, that's cool. Where did you get
Oh,
that?
5. Oh, that's. Wait, I'm on 5. Oh, when I do it on the board, it takes off the overlay.
Oh.
How do I? What the heck? It's on overlay for some reason.
Should be table laptops. Anyways,
Oh, there we go. Duh.
there it is. That is the Donald Duck. And yeah, he's pretty cool. All right, let's do this. Do we want to do your thing now before we finish up as a disclaimer part of it, or do you want to
What are you talking about?
you?
What are you talking about?
Tim has an announcement.
Oh,
Do you wanna-
that.
Do you want to do that now?
Spit it out. Now we're curious.
I'm officially moving to Oregon.
What?
Mhm.
What the?
Yeah. That is
Give a little bit more explanation, like you did with me, just going through.
shit.
Who's going to be our resident earwig behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, I remoted the show before I got here, but I'm putting together the logistics. Hold on, I'm looking for the webcam. It went away. Putting forward the logistic, and I have a new webcam angle. I decided to go from over here. It was a little further shot. I've been trying to move my mother into Michigan since like literally the 4th of July, and so just there's been a series of closed doors and purposes that I'm looking to honor my mother. So I got to get her back in the environment of my siblings. They're all in Oregon, and so I picked a town out there when she finally made that call. We could have backtracked to Oklahoma, but I've been trying to put together a place just for her and I to get into a household and honor her as she's trying to do some children's stories and all of that. But it's been weird closed doors up here for that. So I've been praying and fasting about it for like 14 days or something like that. And yeah, so it looks like there's a connection out there that's popped out of the woodwork, and now we just need the logistics. So it could be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days. Don't know.
Yes. So I want to just say, publicly, if I don't always say it, but appreciate everything Tim's Tim does for the show,
Buttons pushed.
during the show, pushing the buttons. Well, he puts together
Not always the right ones.
the break media. He puts together a bunch of other stuff, and then I come in and put new equipment in.
Oh yeah.
And give him like a 2-minute tutorial, and then expect the flawlessness that I know he's capable of. But it's been a good run. It's not going to be over, but I mean it's going to be definitely a different scenario.
Yeah.
And so I'll also put the word out that if there are people in our audience that would be interested in helping out with the show behind the scenes, that we could use a couple of button pushes. I do have. You guys can't see it, but
if I can get back to that 5,
I've got a whole
control panel.
I've got a whole control panel that I can do.
Why is that not working now?
Which one?
No, it's just I can't push 5 on that board and get to that screen without
without it doing the overlay,
without it taking the overlay away.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
we'll have to figure that one out. Anyway, so there'll be some stuff where I get to automate some of the button pushing over here.
Right.
On my tablet.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so you can see that.
And and why I'm here, if somebody wants to see how we
if there's anybody interested, until
put the
Tim
pre-show together and get
actually
it fired up.
departs, he's willing to help, and we would appreciate it. And actually, since he's got here, we've been trying to get some people in to help us out, because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and it's going to be great. Whatever he's doing, and I like that he said you didn't share. Go ahead.
There's some nice perks that come with it. I mean, there is a signature salad accompanied by an awesome dinner.
Oh yeah, that's too. Yeah,
this is true.
This is
true. You're not lying. You're not talking out of turn. I like it.
In most restaurants, you pay like $40-$50 for a dinner like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
what part did I share? Yeah.
Just the part about with seeing with the family around with my mom.
Oh yes. Yeah, that was actually a big influence. Is seeing how Jeremy's family and everything rallied around his mother as they knew that her existence was coming to an end temporally.
Right.
Vertically, we'll all be together later.
Right.
So that whole thing was inspirational, and there's maybe even some reconciliation with some siblings of my own I might do, but they're all assholes. But I love them.
So, anyways, that's that. All right. So we want to share that with everybody and make sure. Larry, can you put that closer to your face?
Yeah. We didn't hear you actually.
What? You just breathed into that microphone.
Big gust of air.
Did I?
Yeah.
Blast of wind.
Well, at least it
was the right end. Yeah, I know. At least it wasn't the other.
We know. Thank you. So let's do this, gentlemen. Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
Are your feelings hurt? Her words down. Oh, girl, baby girl. Really? Baby?
Oh, they cannot take the words.
There's another motion to strike her words again.
Girl, we are gonna move and we're gonna take your words down.
I'm not apologizing.
Well, then
Okay, reserve the right to
your
object.
words.
I am not apologizing.
Chair recognizes Ms. Green.
I repeat again for the second time.
Yes.
I'll strike
right.
my words, but I'm not apologizing.
Without objection. Without
Not
objection.
apologizing.
Reserving the right to
No,
object.
let's go. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. There we are. Disclaimers out of the way. We're ready to dive into the shoe. It's a really, really big shoe. We're going to go over President Trump and his inaugural speech.
Yes.
We're going to dive into this. Tim was was working very hard today. Mapping out, what would you say that? Time stamping it? Indexing. See, I knew I would mess it up. Sorry, I didn't. The problem is I pull stuff up on the laptop down there and then I forget to come up here and pull it up here. And I didn't do it. Oh, look at this. This is awesome. CNN.
What are they up to now?
It says Trump's inaugural address annotated and fact checked.
CNN thinks they have credibility to fact check.
They don't know if fact if it fucked them up the ass.
Yeah, here, fact check my toilet paper.
Yeah. So
After I've used it.
So what I put in our notes tonight is this one here. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation. We will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer during every single day of the Trump administration. I will very simply put America first.
Yes.
Awesome freaking quote from an awesome freaking dude. And let's see what the annotation is here for. Let's see. So CNN likes to put that box on there. It says Trump has a second chance to deliver on his promise to make America great again. He argues that him simply taking office is a step in that direction. Of course, CNN wants to put that on there. You dicks.
That's why they're the communist news network.
Yeah,
that is a fact. Just him actually before he took office.
Yeah,
100%.
Just the fact that you got rid of that brain dead piece of garbage.
Yeah,
is an it's automatic improvement.
Man, that guy was dumb,
dude.
That guy was so stupid.
I want to know when he leaned in to talk. When Trump leaned in to talk to him, he's like, "Joe, did you sit yourself?" That's what, and then when Barron went over to him at the end of the speech, I wanted to know if Barron's like, Dad did say you smell like shit.
But you know what? A class act.
Yeah.
What a class act.
Yeah.
You know, his son Barron.
Especially after all the shit they did to him.
100%. What were we gonna say, Tim?
No, so at that second you were talking, and Elon leans in and said, "What? Oh, he shit himself. Pass it on." And he turns to a guy on the right. Elon was right there. Yeah, he shit himself. Pass it on.
And that is the one time in all of history that the telephone game actually worked and made it all the way through the whole crowd that he shit himself. Nobody got it wrong. It didn't get changed. It made it all the way through.
Because everybody already knew.
Everybody already knew. They're like, that makes sense. He shit himself. Pass it on. Yeah, he shit himself. Yeah, okay. He shit himself. How pathetic that, but I'm glad that thing's over.
The shitter in chief.
The shitter in chief. That just tells you, whoops, I forgot. I'm starting to click buttons. Anyway, so there's the quote for tonight. The golden age of America begins now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer.
Yeah. Well,
during every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
And as well, I mean, for a change, for a breath of fresh air. That's we've been dead ass last.
Oh my
for the
God.
last 4
Dude,
years.
It's been ridiculous.
I mean, you know, the case in point.
Yeah,
we have a major hurricane that hits North Carolina. How does a hurricane hit North? But that's another story.
The interior of North Carolina.
Right, yeah.
It devastates the mountain regions of North Carolina.
But that's
to,
not
to where they're flooded out on the mountaintop.
But they all got $750.
That's
is
the
true.
point.
Yeah.
They got 750. And how many billions of dollars went to Ukraine?
Oh,
and now it's hitting Southern California fires. And what do they get? $770. Oh, what up?
Whatever.
Yeah, they got $20 more.
Adjusted for inflation.
Yeah,
that's half an iPhone.
That is half an iPhone. You are correct, sir. And it's also, did you hear that Trump, I think he did a 90-day moratorium or 90-day suspension of all foreign aid?
Good.
Nice.
90 days, all foreign aid suspended.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And now we're going to assess who gets, he goes, why are we sending our money over there?
Yeah.
When there was one where he talked about it was like $1 trillion or something that is going out, and he's like, nope, that's done. Yeah, it wasn't just foreign aid.
Yeah,
so
he pulled us out of the Paris Accord.
Well, yeah, because
because it all was bullshit.
Because we were subsidizing all those other fucking nations.
Yes,
you know, with our money.
Of course. Yeah. Why are we doing that?
What the hell?
So, Tim, do you have it at the 50-second mark to pull up Trump actually giving us this quote himself?
Let me get my audio ready. So I'm gonna be feathering this as it goes.
Yeah, and I'll take a look. What nobody's chatting in here.
Let's
where are the people? Where are the people?
Here we go. Here's
Where's
the top of
coffee?
it.
Right.
You want to take this to 50 seconds?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. Wow.
I have to
Thank
click
you
on it.
very,
Hold
very
on. Let's bring the volume up.
Vice President Vance.
He goes through all the
Speaker
people.
Johnson, Senator.
Yeah, he does
Thune,
shout outs.
Yep.
Chief Justice Roberts, justices
I
of
can't
the
believe he says both presidents.
United States
5 presidents
Supreme
that
Court,
are there.
I know it.
President Clinton,
Yeah,
President Bush,
Boo, boo,
President Obama,
boo,
President Biden,
boo, boo,
Vice President Harris,
boo, literally.
and my fellow citizens.
Oh, there we go.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is. Yep. So,
Who was the chick in the green?
That
Oh,
is one of the announcers.
yeah, she's the like master of ceremonies. Or
Yeah, they
some
had,
shit.
there's 2 different girls. If you see the girl in the green and then the girl on the in the blue on the other side of Vance, they both had roles in
this whole ceremony.
the whole ceremony.
I know it, but I just didn't know if she had any other significance.
That's it. That's all she does is these ceremonies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've got people that have lesser significant government jobs that get really good salaries. So why not this gal? To do it once every 4 years to organize
Now,
this party.
One thing I wanted to bring up. I mean, they're in the rotunda.
Yeah.
This is kind of significant that we would have this kind of cold weather that pushes them inside. Remember, so they're inside. They're in the rotunda.
Mhm.
I have a quick story. Can I tell the Jesse story for city elders?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me
so-
before you do that, let me
Yeah, go.
inject this. It has been reported that Trump would not have prevailed either way. If he kept it outside, he was an asshole for putting people in the cold. If he brings it inside, he's an asshole for not letting the people congregate and be able to show their respect. So no matter what Trump does, inside or outside, he's the asshole for the whole thing and how it was organized. Continue with the speech. Yeah.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Of course he is. I realized I'm not layered here, so I'm not above the video. I was under the video. Actually, are you guys under it?
We're on top.
Now I am.
I can see
I
it,
was
yeah.
under
Yeah,
before. Okay, so I've been part of and have been helping expand. Hey, Elon's in the far left corner.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's right over there.
He looks a little
right there,
blurry from my shot.
Yeah. It's part of
So
the
it's not just me,
video.
okay.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people in there. I was wondering who the 2 chicks were that was in the back row on the right, 2 young, and then they walked forward. They were part of Trump's family. I didn't.
Oh,
realize
right.
that was-
I think they're granddaughters.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
granddaughters.
That's what they. Oh,
Yeah. Back down there, you can't see.
Well, I
them
know they
right
were
now.
clapping for him, so I
Yeah,
think
of course. Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. During the speech, the first 3 rows on the right side, nobody stands up and claps at all. But anyway, so here the story real quick is there's a minister out of Tulsa that runs an organization called City Elders, and they plant meetings, weekly meetings they have in city centers across the country where evangelical leaders can get together with business and civic leaders and pray for them and figure out what challenges they have in their city center to be elders of that city and help them fight against and take back territory that the enemy has taken. They helped Virginia flip 63 seats 2 midterms ago.
Nice.
So yeah, they did door knocking and all of that. So that's the city elders do. They Jesse, who runs this, Jesse Rogers, was in DC taking a tour. They actually offered Jesse the pastoralship of the Capitol Church that meets in the actual Capitol building, but he said he wouldn't do it unless they flew him there from Tulsa, let him still live in Tulsa, and they said no. So they came in with some pastors doing a tour, and we're in the rotunda, that space, when it was all in renovation, as Trump was looking to clean the swamp. This is back as Trump's first
go round
was going. Yes. And so they met in there. It was like within that first year. And just as a bunch of Republican senators came in too. And so they ended up having this prayer with pastors surrounding these senators. And it was like this epic, it was definitely God's ordained moment in that building, in that very room. And the fact that he would be then ordained, or not ordained, I guess it's ordained, but whatever, inaugurated in that room on his second inauguration is not lost on a lot of us. We know what happened in that room, and the fact that he took the office back in that room is very apropos. So
awesome.
Anyway, continue.
No, yeah, that's great.
As you're talking about that, I got to make reference to this guy right here.
Oh,
he's a pastor.
Lorenzo?
From
Oh,
Michigan.
yeah, the guy from here.
Yeah, from Detroit.
Yeah.
He was freaking phenomenal.
Dude. And then contrast that with the stupid unification bitch that got up there and tried to lecture Trump about.
Oh, yes, today, this morning. Yeah.
Don't, they're afraid. And we
That's
wanted
like,
to make, it was like,
the fake Christian and the fake church.
yeah, dude, how did you get up there?
Oh God.
How did
They should have walked out.
Dude, but Trump's too classy for that. When we go through this speech, he could have just laid him out.
Right.
And he was
Well,
so
he did.
classy. He did, but he
did.
didn't do it in he did it in as polite a way as he possibly could.
Well, he just stated the facts.
100%. 100%.
All right. We're gonna roll.
Yeah, let's go with
Justices of the
115. He
States
puts America
Supreme
first.
Court.
Talked about putting America first.
Yeah, you want to jump to 115?
Yeah.
Will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer.
Yeah.
During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
That's awesome.
It should be.
That's the way it should be.
That's your freaking job.
Yeah. The only one that has ever done well, Reagan. Yeah.
Right. Let's go to and we expect that. Let's go to 224 on there. I want to start with this. I want to just touch on whatever his first couple lines are.
Sure.
This is him talking about the honest challenges that we face.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time
He's
stumbling
stabbing
into
these
a
things,
continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly.
Yeah. Now look at this. So pause right there, Tim, for me.
Yeah.
This is a close-up on Trump, but every time they cut to a statement that he's making, as you said a little while ago,
Right.
none of the people on
his left
stood up, did anything. Every once in a while, I saw
It was one quote.
Bush clap. I saw Bush clap a couple times.
Yeah.
And I saw Clinton clap at the same time for a couple things that was said.
There were one or two things, but not everything else.
Everything else, they sat there like, and I'm like, and they, I watched Steven Crowder and I watched Viva Fry.
Right.
And they were commenting how many times Joe kind of seemingly nodded off.
Yeah.
Where he was like,
Yeah.
and he'd open his eyes. But yeah, they sat on their hands during all of this. And shout out Dale's in the chat. Shout out Dale. Go ahead, Tim.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn. From weeks ago, without even a token of defense, they're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting.
You got three others, but
We
yeah.
can't let this happen.
That
Everyone is unable to do anything.
That is what I thought.
That is
Yeah.
what I thought.
I said, okay, they don't have a home in LA.
Yeah, but they have others.
So they can go to their other homes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
these guys aren't hurting necessarily, right?
Yeah.
you know, it's a different type of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and you hate to see that anything.
I mean,
but,
it still sucks, but nonetheless, you're not like the elderly people who have lived there all their lives and lost their only home.
right. He sort of cited North Carolina. I
Good
wanted
one.
to make sure you had it.
Yeah, I got it.
He cited North Carolina first, which have been extremely devastated, as you started to allude to.
The only one he missed out on was Hawaii.
He didn't go Hawaii. Oh no, he's still East Palestine. That hasn't been resolved.
East
either.
Palestine, Hawaii. I think he had to condense.
Oh, yeah, he went to the most latest,
Most
significant.
recent. Yeah.
The ones that are still in memory, right?
Yeah. Depending on what kind of goldfish we're dealing with in the public out there.
Yeah, the comment on whose houses were being lost. You know, who's the guy you wrote your book after, or the screenplay after? The British comedian.
Oh, yeah, Russell Brand.
You know, Russell Brand has a clip where he was with Mel Gibson.
Oh, right.
And he leans over and so, my house is burning down during his Malibu. So Mel Gibson lost his Malibu.
Well, while
house.
he was while he was doing the interview with Rogan too.
Yeah.
When he was on the Rogan, he's like,
my house is gone now. Yeah.
He's like, I'm pretty sure my house is gone now, but you know.
No, but when he got the actual confirmation, they were together.
The confirmation he was with Russell.
They were at some event, but he leaned over. They were at some political event or something, and they were sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, my house is burning down."
What did they make Stallone?
Wow.
Stallone is now is he the
He has the ambassador to Hollywood or
right
envoy to Hollywood.
envoy to Hollywood? Yeah.
To
so
who?
Him.
To like the whole to walk into Hollywood and go
Get your shit together.
Stop diddling kids and making woke bullshit.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna.
Stallone, it's Gibson too, right? Stallone, Gibson, and Voight, right?
Is it the three of them?
I think yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just listening. They played a game on Steven Crowder today. Whether it was is it a coach or Stallone? And so all they gave out was the name of the person, and they're like, is that Stallone or is that an actual coach in one of the major sports? And people were trying to guess. They're like, man, I don't know. Is it Stallone or is it a coach? And yeah, it was kind of fun.
Thing about it that's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them.
That's right.
All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
Let's pause it there.
Who we got coming in for the health department is, of course, our
RFK Jr.
Our RFK Jr. Yep.
I like Dale. Dale pointing out that when Poopy Pants, I did. Apparently, he said they did. They all booed.
I missed that. Okay.
Poopy Pants.
But it was pretty quick.
What they're gonna do about the Ed? Who's supposed to be coming in for that?
Nice.
I don't. Yeah, who's coming in for Ed? That's a good question.
Jeremy has interviews.
Trying to remember.
Okay.
Let me look that up right.
What do you want me to play it right now while we're doing this? What are you showing me?
Why would I want you to play it right now? While you're doing this. I'm just letting you know something while he's speaking.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember who's going to help clean up the Ed. I don't know if anyone. I don't remember anyone being announced. Who?
McMahon. Linda McMahon.
Oh, Linda McMahon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he talked about it in the later speech where he said, "Yeah, Linda's going to take over the Department of Education."
Oh, that's right.
And he told her from day one. He said, "If you do a really good job, you will be out of a job.
Right.
You will work yourself out of a job.
Right.
That's the expectation."
Okay.
So there's that. Let's move ahead.
Yeah, what we got coming on next?
He makes a statement at 5:45. America's decline is over. That's a pretty straightforward statement. I think that. But let's get to number Mark 5 at 6 minutes, 6:17, because I like this because there's been one of the things that I think in Trump's character that he hasn't always done is admitted when he's missed it. And over the last year leading up to this, I really saw a number of times where he didn't go overboard in admitting that he was wrong, but he has definitely had some very reflective moments in interviews. I don't know if you guys seen that. Yeah.
Near-death experience will do that to you.
100%. And it's caused him to reflect. So I like this statement. It's at what 617
Our
mark.
nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
That's it. And that's so when he's talking here and he says that.
Look who doesn't stand up.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, they don't stand up. Everybody else stands up. The whole place.
Well, why would people that don't follow God honor God?
Thank you very much.
Right.
True.
But that's,
I mean, that's like,
and he's talking about that. I've been tested more than anybody else, and I've learned a lot. I don't want him to say, I messed this up, I messed that up.
I mean,
but I want him to say I learned a lot.
Yeah, well, that's still an admission of humility.
Exactly. What do you say, Larry?
Well, I was just gonna. He said it for me. He said it for me. It was an act of humility.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was honoring God.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was honoring, acknowledging why he was standing there tonight.
Yep.
God.
Right. And you know what's
Period.
interesting? We're not fast forward, but when he put his hand on the Bible, a number of people have noted that he didn't put his hand on the Bible, right? And if you actually watch the sequence of it, he's standing up there, and before the family can come up,
everything was rushed.
to
It
him.
looked like,
and Melania put the two Bibles actually, for him to put his hand on. Chief Justice is already administering the oath. So by the time it's happening, Trump, how would you be in that situation? Would you all of a sudden make it look like you were made a mistake and put your hand on the Bible, or would you just continue the way you were? And a lot of people have said that well, does this mean he's not? And I'm like, look at the amount of times he's talking about the Lord and being saved for a purpose and stuff like that. And because it was a rushed moment and he didn't have the Bibles there to put his hand on before the inauguration, before the oath of office took place.
Right.
He didn't stop in the middle of it and put his hand
the
on.
Chief Justice actually should have waited until the Bible.
Correct.
I don't know
there.
why that was rushed.
Well, and if you look at the two,
I wonder why there was two.
What?
One
Why
was
there's
his,
two Bibles?
and then another one was, I don't know, it was
A Lincoln
grandfather
Bible? I thought
or-
they said-
Lincoln, that was it. Yeah.
Was it the Lincoln Bible?
Yeah.
Oh,
And if you look at it, if you watch it, this was not rehearsed.
Right.
of course not. Well, I mean, he's done it before.
He's done it before, but it wasn't rehearsed. And if you look at the way Kavanaugh did it with Vance,
Yeah.
Right.
it was like full sentences. Repeat back to me.
Yeah.
When
It was like twice as long.
Justice Roberts got up there,
Yeah.
it was 3 words, 4
Yeah.
words,
Yeah.
3 words, 4 words. There was not these long sentences.
Yeah, it was
and
short.
and as I was watching it, I felt like President Trump already knew the whole oath, obviously,
Sure.
Mhm.
but was having to go with the cadence of Justice Roberts in order to recite it back. And I don't think he ever was fully comfortable in that moment. That was my take on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
That was before this, and you didn't tell me to put that in this clip. or
No,
we
no,
could've
that's-
watched it.
that's fine. This is the most important thing. This is what we've titled the show tonight, Liberation Day. Let's get to this
That's
at 7:50.
Okay, it's right here then.
Yep.
Hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
There you go.
Liberation Day. That's exactly right.
It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country.
Liberation Day.
As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans.
And I like this point when he
urban,
points out
suburban, rural, and
Black, Hispanic, and Martin Luther King Day.
Oh,
It's leading right into this.
We had a powerful win in all 7 swing states.
Yeah.
And the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
If they go to the wide shot, let's see who doesn't stand for MLJK Day.
And we've all been in crowds. There's obviously times where there's a little peer pressure that a few people that are very into it will stand up, and then the rest of the people feel
Obligated.
obligated. But it's like there's some people that stand up for every good point that somebody makes, and there are other people that are content to just clap and appreciate it, but they don't always feel compelled to stand up.
Right.
You know, I've danced, in church services and had a blast, and there's other times where I don't feel like dancing. Whereas there are some people that come into church worship services and they're always going to dance because that's just the type of personality they are, the type of people they are. And so it's just obvious though, when you've got these certain groups of people, and then going back to your point, the speech or the prayer that we don't have time tonight to include it. You guys, if you didn't get a chance to hear it, go check out the prayer by Pastor Sewell. It's S-E-W-E-L-L.
Sewell.
Sewell.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the guy from Detroit, and he invokes so much of what President Trump just alluded to or noted. And I love the phraseology. He said, we're going to make that dream come true.
Yeah, libtards were melting down.
And
over his speech.
I wanted to point this out in here because when, they say we're the most racist country in the world, okay? Yet throughout Africa today, there are Muslims selling blacks on the slave trade right now, today, but you don't hear the bleeding hearts traveling over to Sierra Leone or a bunch of those places specifically on the west coast of Africa, looking to
narrative.
It doesn't fit their narrative. Exactly right.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter whether it's true or not.
Women are slaves in Islam.
100%. We've got 3 million Uyghur slaves in China right now, and the ones that should have been standing up, saying, agreeing with Trump that we're going to make that dream come true.
Did not.
Under President Barack Obama, Mr. Barry Soetoro, under his administration, we went backwards in race relations.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Completely backwards. And yet we're the only country, we're the country to elect a black president and still be called the most racist nation.
Well, you got to understand, Democrats keep racism alive.
Move your hand, Larry, please.
They live and they breathe racism.
Oh,
100%.
Because
everything is racist.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but they actually practice it too. So the chick this morning, right? The white so-called fake Christian chick.
The butch
bitch. So she, when she got to the latter end of her comments, what did she say? The people that pick our crops and the people that
I saw
wash
that.
our dishes.
Racist.
It's like, come on, racist. It's like, do you have any self-awareness whatsoever?
None.
Zero.
But that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi did when she got there. And she's
Schumer
like,
said
who's going to empty our trash
Schumer
if you
said
get
the
rid
same
of the
thing.
illegals?
All of these people, all these people are basically, they want to slave basically what's the word I'm looking for? Shit.
Community, a slave or a slave.
Well, yeah, they want a
They want a
slave
lower-
market, basically.
they want a lower class.
a second
Caste.
economy, right?
Yeah,
Caste.
a caste,
Yeah.
Caste system.
a caste system. And the thing is,
That's what India has.
my daughter and her mother, my first wife, and a bunch of their friends all work over at a local resort here. Okay, as part of the cleaning and maintenance staff. All right. There's no they do a hell of a job over there. They do an awesome job, doing all the work that they do in there. There's no denigration in it. But when you hear a fucking leftist talk about it, dude,
Right.
and they go, "Oh, we need these illegals to clean our trash." It's like
because that works
why-
beneath us.
So not only did you denigrate the person because they're illegal, but now you denigrated the
work.
job itself,
Right.
Yeah.
and you reduced both of them. How did you do that in one sentence? You asshole.
But I mean, so it's that, and then there's also the low expectations, right?
Exactly.
So you look at
But
the
they're-
voter,
they're-
the voter ID, whether it's educational standards,
Yeah.
or any standards whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
They said, oh well, we need to lower the standards because these people can't do it.
Instead of pushing into educating them and helping them rise up to those standards.
Well, I mean, but the assumption is that they can't.
They can't
it
do
in the
it.
first place.
Well, the whole argument of no voter ID was that they're too stupid to go get an ID,
Yep.
and even if they got an ID, they couldn't read it anyway.
have
So why?
access.
We don't have access.
Although we have an ID to do everything else, but all of a sudden now when it comes to voting, oh, you're too stupid to do that.
You know what it is? Because they send the one guy in to get the pack of cigarettes with an ID, and then everybody else standing outside saying, "Give me a Lucy." And he's making money, so that's a whole capitalistic system right there.
Well, that same capitalistic system got Eric Garner killed out in New York, right?
Yeah, because he was about to testify against his own organization, and some people wanted him shut up. We don't have that, but since you brought up that guy, this is about the CEO that got assassinated.
Oh,
right?
No, I'm talking about somebody else.
Oh, who are you talking about?
Remember the whole "I can't breathe" scenario?
Oh,
out in New
yes.
York? Yeah.
Yes.
He was selling Lucy's, right?
He was selling Lucy's. Yeah.
But the point is, the only reason he was, arrested in the first place was because the council put that law in place.
Was that you couldn't sell Lucy's?
Yeah.
Right.
But the point is,
What are Lucy's?
A single cigarette.
Oh, the
Loose. LOO.
Lucy.
You're a smoker. You have never bummed a Lucy.
Not Lucy.
I'm not a smoker anymore.
Since what? Since what?
He's quit 5 times now.
I know. I love it every time he quits, and then he and I see him out there.
Been before Christmas.
I'm just
I don't know what date I quit. It was before Christmas.
okay, buddy. I want you to stick with it. I love it.
But I mean, so who are the real racists? Whether it be from the inception of the country, where the Democrats, promoted slavery, promoted Jim Crow, founded the Klan, eugenics, Planned Parenthood.
Have you ever been to
all that good stuff?
Have you ever been to the museum or seen anything documenting the Democrats museum?
No.
It literally have Lincoln in there as if he was a Democrat.
Wow.
Where's this?
Trying to usurp it. It's one of these museums that they have, and I watched a video, and they walk in there, and they're like, "Oh, you've President Lincoln in there. Yo, yes, he was so wonderful at helping to free the slaves and everything like that." And they're like, "You do know he was a Republican?" They're like, "What?"
Yeah.
They'll argue with you. I've had liberals argue with me.
Oh,
really?
The
I have.
stupidest thing. Oh, yeah.
And
there was a whole
Total
video.
lack of education there.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, there was a whole that's what part of it that bothers me, and I do my research on it, is Dr. Thomas Sowell was so phenomenal at pointing stuff like this out.
Yep.
And a few other ones, and he was consistently denigrated by the rest and criticized by the rest. That's why I love this pastor out of Detroit right now. That's why I asked with the pronunciation, because Thomas Sowell,
Yeah,
it's spelled the same way.
S-O. Soul is S-O.
I thought they were spelled the same way. And Thomas Sowell used to call himself, he would say his name was Sowell.
So yeah, but I think
But it
this
was
guy's
S-E-W-E-L-L.
That's different.
This is S-W-E-W-E-L-L.
Yes.
Oh, swell? I must not
Swell.
have had my glasses on last time I looked at it.
Swell.
No, it's the same spelling. I'm pretty sure if you look up that spelling with Dr. Thomas Sowell.
Soul is clear. Like I said, the guy in, I'm not sure about Lorenzo.
I'm pretty sure the exact same spelling.
Swell.
That's Sewell. Then that would be a different pronunciation.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, Sewell. Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I'd like to go see
Yeah,
him.
Soul's with an O, so it's different spelling.
Well, I'm going to check because I'm pretty sure the reason that's the reason I asked you, because I'm like, I don't, well, not asked you specifically, but asked the table. Oh, his does have an O.
Yeah, Soul.
Yeah.
So his is Soul. That's weird because it's so well if you read it phonetically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. Anyway, so but I love the fact that Trump's talking about bringing this together, and the people that were in support of him, as Lorenzo Sewell are on the same page, and he really tore up that prayer.
Okay.
It was passionate. It was awesome. It was Christ oriented. It was literally doing what the job was supposed to be, praying for the president, doing all that stuff. It was awesome.
And ticked off all the liberals at the same time.
You know, it's time for them to be ticked off.
Yeah.
So I don't really care if liberals are ticked off. I really don't care about liberals in general.
Remember what Jesus said? The disciples came to him and they said, Lord, don't you know when you said this, you offended them? He goes, if they were offended, it was necessary.
Right.
You know, it's like
offense was.
I mean, the point is, you know, we need to get over this whole thing about people not being offended. You know, if you go back into the history of this country and you look at especially the media,
right,
it was never cordial.
Never.
Oh, of course not.
That was a nasty business.
Dude, not only the founding of the country, when you go back and study early Christian history, it was extremely divisive too. It wasn't this honeymoon of being united and everybody's all together and we're just gonna, love on Jesus. Dude, there was factions everywhere. In fact, it's even in the scriptures where Paul says, I went up to Peter because he was in error. He was messing up and I opposed him to his face. You know, they had factions, they had stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
To act like it was all, it
was not, kittens and sunshine.
Kittens and sunshine. There it is.
Love and war.
Exactly. What's our next one here, Tim? We've got so I think we've dealt with that one. Next he talks about national unity in God. Let's clip on that for a little bit, and then I want to move on to some of the things he's going to declare, because I want to, in the second part of the show, I want to talk about the things that he's already implemented.
Right.
Let's go to that at 10 o'clock, 10 minutes.
America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God.
That's so huge, dude.
Yeah.
Blatant.
That's it. Let's just pause it right there, because I mean we'll move on to the next one.
They're going to clap for 3 minutes. I'll just let it play.
Yeah. So just that, we will not forget our God. Now,
that's why we are here today.
Correct. Check me, Tim. Help me out on this one if I miss it, but I think I got it right. When Kim Clement gave his prophetic word about Donald Trump, he said some of the phrases that I do remember accurately. He said, "Trump will become a trumpet." But then he says, though he is not he's not a man of prayer, he will be a president who prays.
Yeah,
I think that's probably
right.
statement.
That's about right.
And also in the prophetic word, he talks about how Trump was not necessarily literally a man of faith. He was not a man, but as he goes along, God is grabbing a hold of him. And Trump is not a drinker and obviously not a smoker.
Yeah. He's
but
never touched alcohol.
Never touched alcohol and never been, any other substances. Likes the ladies. That can be a substance in and of itself. But I'll tell you what, the word coming out from so many circles, and it's across the board, which is amazing because he's had all of them. He's had the whole groups of black pastors and the whole groups of even Jewish rabbis and all sorts of other groups, and they get around him, and he just throws his hands up or just sits there, and they come and pray over him. That man has become addicted to the anointing of God. When they come in and they want to pray for him, he's just like, let's do it. And he just yields to them praying and feeling the presence of God and feeling the anointing of God. And that wasn't something, he was a businessman. He had a righteous heart, but he was not somebody that was actively seeking God. Now, Melania has been all along.
Right.
And she's really helped nurture that in him because she sees that good heart, sees that there's a godliness to him, whether he's completely, how would you say, there's a godliness to him without him being overtly religious or even ardent in his pursuit of God. And now I really think it was God ordained for him to endure and survive the assassination attempt in Butler because it is so pushed his heart. He was already there.
Well, he mentions this is more epic now because of that in his after speech.
Yes.
With the choir, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. He does mention that. But one thing that we have to keep in mind, as the Lord manufactures and orchestrates the governance of our country.
Yeah.
The vision of the throne room of God and the structure of the governance of God is he's got the elders sitting around him. He's got the 12 apostles on his left representing the ecclesia.
Right.
And then he's got the 12 tribes on his right representing the civic governance.
Yeah.
And kings were anointed
100%
and had the presence of God in the nation of Israel.
And
it has that spiritual to it, but it's in the justice. It is the blind justice of the sword that right hand takes the authority from.
Right.
It's the ecclesia that has the grace.
Correct. And the reality is, I don't want a Lorenzo.
You want a warrior
as a president. I want him as that fiery minister.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want the business leader who acknowledges our God.
Yeah.
And knows that God spared his life and put him up there for a purpose. I want that guy as the leader of the political and
business aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want the two to be together.
Yeah.
Right.
You want the king and the prophet.
Well, they're different skills.
Separately.
They're two different skill sets, right?
100%.
You and I were talking about this earlier. I just remembered. I was talking about Jesse, the guy I mentioned, the city elders, who has been and talked to and prayed with Donald a dozen times.
Yeah.
He's like Trump's number 3 spiritual advisor. Said that Trump has said, I'm really more of I can't do his voice. I'm really more of an Old Testament guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And talking about how he's like kind of an eye for an eye,
for an eye,
tooth for a tooth,
tooth for a tooth.
We'll just take care of what we do.
He's about just. Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's really more of an
And-
Old Testament guy.
And I made the statement to Tim, and he kind of looked at me.
It's about justice.
Yeah, he kind of looked
What
at me
is
a little
just?
like needing a little bit more explanation. But I said, you know what? I love that about him being an eye for an eye guy because he's, for me, a true eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth guy, skin for skin guy.
Sure.
Will give you the opportunities to redeem the situation yourself. The guy that is fearful and wants to make and be a dictator will take you out because you looked at him wrong. Whereas a guy that's going to hold you ultimately accountable, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, whatever it is, right? He's going to give you the opportunities. And Tim brought up
the parable of the unjust servant.
Yeah.
The one that had, tens of thousands of denarii in debt and gets forgiven and then goes and strangles a guy for $250.
Right.
Yeah.
And even and demands
throws
his
family into
put in
jail
prison. And then the guy comes back and finds out about it and he goes, dude, I forgave you all that debt and you locked this guy up for $20.
Yeah.
You're done. And that's the type that Trump is. And you see it in the first administration where he was like, you know what? He even said it in a couple of his interviews leading up to the election. He said, a lot of these people, I let them resign. I gave them a pass. I told them they were done. I let them he goes, No longer. Not doing it any longer.
You're
Listen,
fired.
you're fired.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it known. You're fired. Nothing else. You're gone. You're out of here. You know, and I look at that. That's
Well, he's learned his lesson from
correct.
the first four.
But being that he's to say to Jesse, head of city elders,
Yeah.
that he is an Old Testament guy.
More of an Old Testament kind of guy.
When you understand the context of that, we think of an Old Testament guy as just automatically bring out the whip or the sword. When the reality is, you look at the heart of David as an Old Testament king, right? He literally sneaks into the cave where Saul, the king, is taking a dump.
Yeah.
Could have taken him out if he wanted to.
And could have taken his life, to the point that he sneaks up and cuts a piece off of his garment while he's doing his business, sneaks back out. And then the guy has so much remorse that when he calls it out, he goes, "My king, I repent for having taken your." How did he phrase it in? You remember how he phrased it in? But he literally, that's where most people don't realize the phrase "touch not mine anointed" is where that's tied into that whole thing. Whereas David could have just gone in there, slit his throat, and been done, taken the throne. He was already the anointed of God to be the king, and he still had enough honor that it's like, until you push me to that moment, I'm going to give you every grace that I can. And so when Trump says it, and you see his track record, he's that guy that I'm an Old Testament type of eye for an eye guy. But I want to see you. I want to see all of the whole dynamics of you taking that eye, and then I'm done with you. You know, and that New York, you expect that New Yorker to come out of him right there at that moment and just go, oh, okay, we've reached that point. All right, we're fucking done here. All right, let's do it. How are we doing on time? We're at.
Well, you're playing time.
Okay.
I mean, it's 9:30 right now, but plenty of time.
Yeah. Do we need to take a quick one or no? Larry already got a refill.
Yeah.
Norris, how you doing over there, buddy?
Well,
You and Patrick
We're
are trading back
halfway
and forth.
through the speech.
Yeah. Let's do this. So now we're gonna dig into a whole bunch of the stuff that he talks about. This first one, you gotta warn me so that we can get that soundbite clear.
Oh, we can do that.
At 10:47, he starts to talk about declaring a border, a national emergency on the southern border. Let's go to that, Tim. 10:47.
1 Samuel 24.
You want to read it?
Through 31. I had to Google it to look it up because in 1 Samuel, I knew it was one of the Sams.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely in there.
Yeah, 24. Wait, did I just read that right? 1 Samuel 24-31. That doesn't make any sense.
24 through 31.
Oh, it's all the chapter. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to find it then. That's
okay.
Take a minute. All right,
Larry, click
where
on
do you need to go?
click on the Rumble one that's spinning, the one that's turning blue and red. You're on Rumble over there. I know you are.
Right.
You already put the American flag up. What's the other one? There's a green Rumble, and then what are those icons doing? Rumble keeps updating their system and doing so much better with all of their stuff.
Right.
There's even that you could hit the money box and donate to the show, which would be appreciated.
Yes.
And then there's a gift box. I don't know what that does, but what's the one that's spinning that does the
little red and blue and green dancey thing?
Yeah, what's that one do?
I don't know.
It's Donald Trump.
No, that's a different
that's what
one.
you did. That one's there. I didn't even see that one.
There's a bunch of Donald Trumps in here. I
don't have that. Yeah.
There we go.
So they've got a bunch of preloaded icons.
See there now. See the one spinning?
Yes.
I don't know what
that's all it does.
That's all it does.
It's just saying Rumble's cool.
Yeah.
Free speech platform.
Is that you, Cannonball?
Kick-ass. Cannonball 63, not 69, 63.
What the hell?
That's what he's born.
So yeah, the whole passage. David rose all afterward and went out of the cave and cried after Saul, saying, "My Lord, the king." And when Saul looked behind him, David stopped with his face to the earth and bowed himself. And David said to Saul, "Wherefore hearest thou men's words, saying, Behold, David seeketh thy hurt?" Like he thought that David was coming after him to chase him down and kill him.
Right.
Behold, this day thine eyes have seen how the Lord has delivered thee
into my hand,
into mine hand in the cave, and some bade me to kill thee, but my eye spared thee, and I said, I will not put forth my hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed.
So there's people that talk about touch not mine anointed, and they don't even have a context or a concept of where that comes from. This dude was able to literally sneak into a cave where the king was taking a dump, cut a piece off his robe.
Yep.
While
See, thy
his
skirt
men,
of my robe is in the hand, for I cut it from the skirt of thy
where
robe.
his men
Kill
were
thee not.
with him, urging him to kill the king and just take the throne, like it was, and he, by all rights, and yet his heart, the heart of, that's when they talk about the heart of David. It's not about his fidelity, obviously, his commitment to his women, but obviously his heart for the Lord. That's what they're talking about. It's, you know what? I have every righteous right to do this, and yet I'm going to refrain to give you the opportunity to turn your heart and to be right. And I watch Trump do that. I watch him when he makes complimentary things to other people in the crowd, and half the crowd will boo because they know that guy's an asshole and a political animal.
Right.
And yet Trump says, no, he's a guys, he's a good guy. I've talked with him. Trump is extending every mercy for him to then say that he's an Old Testament type of guy.
Yeah.
I fully get the context.
Yeah, listen to this. David saying this, see the skirt of thy robe in my hand, for in that I cut off the skirt of the robe, I killed thee not. No, thou and see that there is neither evil nor transgression in my hand. I have not sinned against thee, yet thou huntest my soul to take it.
Oh, yeah.
Even against like Trump's enemies, who's like trying to take his soul.
He was so gracious to the people behind him. He had to point out what he was going to do, how he was going to fix the country, without turning around going, you guys fucked this up and I'm fixing it.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
Well, he did, but
he
it's
did,
so many
but,
words.
I mean, I'm listening to the speech in live time. We had it up on the big screen here in the man cave, and I'm watching it, and I'm just going, this guy is so, for as much as they say he's bombastic and he is brash, he was so naturally
he was classy,
eloquent,
very
classy,
polished.
very polished.
Yeah.
I
When you
mean,
hear the tone he came out with for the first, 2 paragraphs. Yeah.
It's just incredible. I'm like,
very Reagan-esque is what some people say.
To me, yes, but even beyond Reagan. Reagan was phenomenal in the zinger, sound bites, those types of things. He was very good at it. Trump, I think, is so because I think Trump has had to, when you look at Reagan,
I got the one.
I still see Reagan as cut from the same cloth, but a different place on the material.
Here's this one from Reagan, where he gets mad at people for letting the youth get away with doing a bunch of shit that they shouldn't. Reagan blames them.
All of it began the first time some of you who know better and are old enough to know better let young people think that they had the right to choose the laws they would obey as long as they were doing it in the name of social protest.
And he gets up and storms out of the room.
Yeah. So with me, I always saw Reagan as that actor. And when you have an actor's background, you are somewhat removed from that direct public interaction. Now, Reagan came around and became more and more involved publicly. But if you think back to Nixon would sneak out of the White House and go down to the mall and talk with young people on the street. He did that multiple times. People don't know that about him, that he tried to interact. Now, go completely over to Trump. Trump has been a hands-on, behind the scenes, taking care of different employees at different times, giving just the guy, the famous story of the guy who pulled over on the side of the road and helped him change the tire on the limo. Dude, he paid off his house. Just like, he's like, okay, and pays up. The guy goes, my mortgage is paid off, but then there were all sorts of things. Trump is that guy that there's multiple stories where he stops.
Just yesterday, he had at that field house when they had the parade come through inside, and they had a whole group of people whose families were hostages over in Gaza.
Yeah.
And some of them he had gotten back, and some of them they just wanted to get their bodies back, etc. All these people were there. He spent time to talk to each and every one of them.
Right.
As much time as they wanted.
And he
was
shoos
there.
away his handlers,
Yeah.
saying, "Just push it back.
Yeah.
I'm talking with these people."
Yeah.
The times that Biden's looking at his watch while Trump is meeting with the families and taking as much time as they need to sit there and so he's listening to them. But then also he will there's so many reports of him just stopping while he's doing the campaigning but all along where he stops and he goes, just ask the random person in the crowd that's near him. He just goes, "So what do you think about such and such?" And he stands there long enough to listen and actually take it in. And he goes, "Okay." And the reason I know that, not from the anecdotal stories, RFK is one of them. In one of the big speeches, I don't know what stage he's on, but he's on a big stage. And RFK says, "My interactions and time with Trump, being on the plane and being with him on the campaign trail," he goes, "This guy will stop and just ask random people for their opinion on things." And he goes, and he listens and he takes it in. And he said, "But at the same time, when a decision needs to be made, don't worry about the cabinet because it'll be Trump making that final decision. He will listen to his advisors, but he will make that final decision." Yeah. And that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Because we know the last asshole was it.
Dude, he was being run.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
So we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the National Security Declaration on the border. And we're going to dive through all these. Larry pointed out a little while ago that our own Ryan Kelly here in the state of Michigan, who ran for governor, has been was among the people pardoned.
Oh yeah, he'd been exonerated. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Owen Schroyer, who spent time in prison for bullshit, was also in the list. And he said on his show tonight that he was very thankful to the president. He's like, "But I served my time and I'm out." But he said, "I'm extremely thankful for the president." So Trump is covering the what's the term? Covering the watershed or the gambit. Yeah. He's going through it. And there was only like 14 people that were in question as to what they're going to do, because I heard this as we're going to break, and we can maybe look it up, but I heard this. There was a guy that I think Biden actually gave pardons to or commuted their sentence, did something. No, there were three guys that had death penalties. And Biden commuted it, and they turned it down. There were three guys that specifically turned it down because they are innocent. And if they had accepted the pardon, they don't get to fight, and they want to be exonerated because they're innocent. All right, Tim, take us away, buddy. You turn your mic on. Oh, wrong buttons.
This is my brain.
Currently, civilian investigators are uncovering numerous acts of mismanagement, ranging from the fact that, as I recently noted for MRC TV, in his first term as president, Donald Trump moved to redirect millions of gallons of California water from going into the sea, and Newsom sued to stop the action. Then to the fact that, as reporter Michael Schellenberger explains, the Palisades Reservoir was emptied by the government that already had used tax money to build it. Investigators also are noting the bald-facedly sick fact that the LA Fire Department suffers from a lack of firemen, in part because the government mandated the mRNA jabs as a condition of continued employment, and the fact that the now former fire chief Kristen M. Crowley pushed unrealistic diversity policies that reduced the on-hand physical ability of firefighting teams to perform dangerous life-saving tasks, even as it discouraged qualified males from trying to join the team.
So I guess none of us should have been shocked this week when Elon Musk posted that the Los Angeles Fire Department prioritized DEI over saving lives and homes. That's an exact quote. That appeared to be a disgusting dig at the city's fire chief, Kristen Crowley, who has served in the department for decades, rising through the ranks to become the first female and LGBTQ fire chief in LA's history. Musk also amplified a post this week from conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Yes, that guy, he's still around. Alex Jones wrote that Los Angeles fires are part of a larger globalist plot to wage economic warfare and deindustrialize the United States before triggering total collapse. I mean, not sure that guy's okay. Musk responded to that post by writing, true. Yes, just to repeat here, that's just the richest man in the world and the best friend of the incoming president, confirming to his 200 million followers that he thinks the devastating wildfires are a part of a globalist plot.
When I initiated the evacuations of the Senate and the House, it wasn't just for the members of Congress. I wanted to help the demonstrators that were in the building, because if I didn't initiate those evacuations when I did, if a demonstrator would have bumped into a member of Congress, they would have also probably had the terrorism enhancement added to their charge of trespassing. And when I was trying to get permission and help to do that, Yogananda Pittman ghosted me.
So I go over the radio and I say, request permission. I'm requesting permission to evacuate the Senate. I have a clear directional site from the Senate lobby or to the Senate chambers to the Senate door to get them out of the building. I need permission to initiate that. So I'm waiting. No answer from Yogananda Pittman on any of the requests. Even though I know I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to go ahead and initiate this evacuation anyway. So we ended up changing the route after I found out that the East Front was as compromised as it was when I was told by the Sergeant at Arms personnel. And then we started sending them down to the subway. When I called for the evac, she was in the command center. She heard the call. When she heard me sending them out the Senate door, she knew the East Front was as compromised as it was, but she still didn't say, TK, don't send them out that way because there are thousands of people on that side too. So by the grace of God, we got everybody out without getting hurt. It was approximately 2:28 when I evacuated the Senate. It was about 2:36 when I started the House. If she would have evacuated or called for the evacuation of the House when I did the Senate, Ashley Babbitt would have met an empty chamber when she walked in there, and she would have never been shot.
But you were never asked to testify in front of the January 6th Commission. Is that accurate?
I was never asked to even interview.
Why do you think that is?
Because they knew what I was going to say. Your perception should change when you're presented with new facts. And new facts arose that showed that it was not an insurrection, that basically this was a coup set up and staged and led by Yogananda Pittman so she could be the chief of the Capitol Police and she could gain favor from Nancy Pelosi. That's what this was.
And it's a big deal, that what he's saying. And I think it's going to hopefully deter a lot of other bad actors in the government.
And I work at this top consulting firm, and my client is the Pentagon. So I'm embedded in the Pentagon. I work in the Joint Staff, which is the top military command. Once you lost, I went into the intelligence community and I became an FBI special agent. So I became a spy hunter. So I was a counterintelligence agent, special agent at the FBI.
What's your overall assessment of Trump?
He's a sociopathic narcissist who is only interested in advancing his name, his wealth, and his fame.
Is there anything you can do to protect American people from stuff that he might try to do?
I'm in conversation with a couple of retired generals to try to explore what we can do.
Who were the retired generals that you were going to talk to?
They're 1, 2, or 3 star generals and admirals. You probably know maybe 4 stars. So I also have a big day tomorrow, probably the biggest day of all. So we have this huge meeting with military leaders in a very secure room called the Tank. So we have a tank meeting with like all of the top leaders in the United States military tomorrow on my topic that I prepared.
So it went well.
I think it went well. Very sensitive information. We're gonna have to keep it between us. I specialize in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies like quantum, cybersecurity. Yeah.
What's quantum? I haven't heard of it.
Quantum is incredibly fast supercomputing that doesn't yet exist but will soon exist. And when it does, it will change everything.
Hegseth.
Hegseth.
Who's that?
Secretary of Defense. He's cheated on all of his wives, all his girlfriends. He's had some sexual assault allegations. He's an alcoholic. There's a lot of observations of him drinking. You're not a spy. You're not trying to like collect information from me.
I wish I was. That'd be cool.
Well, with me, literally with a former FBI agent, so you're gonna be safe.
Jamie, you're a spy hunter, you say. Well, I'm a spy hunter too, but I'm evidently a better spy hunter than you.
We have no permission to use it.
Actually, we do. It's called the First Amendment. Why would you lie to me?
I'm not lying to you, and I'm not.
Do you lie every day at work?
No, I'm not lying.
Then why did you say that you are working with retired generals?
What are you talking about?
You were a special agent with the FBI. You worked for Hillary Clinton. You worked for the State Department. You talk about hunting spies. What if my undercover person was a Russian spy?
Go away, you liar. You're a known fraudster. You have a poor reputation. No one believes you. Go away.
What out of here. Okay, so this is the former FBI special agent. Is that right?
You're an Go away. Go away.
Yeah, there's no reason to get upset, sir.
Yeah, there is a reason. Go away. Leave me alone. Bothering people in public.
No, I'm reporting on what you're saying. Because there's a First Amendment in this country, and I recognize you government people don't like.
Behind the First Amendment to get away with your freaking fraud and friends.
Well, that fraud is a very serious accusation. That's a form of psychological projection. There you have the government official, quite angry.
This is my brain.
It's a good thing we have people like him around. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. No, that guy's a piece of shit. And he's the whole thing is predicated on him talking about what was the premise of him? Who was the person they were targeting? Where's yours at? Oh.
Way over there.
Yeah.
Mine's way over there. Dude, you asked me a question. I still got to get you back on camera.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
buttons to push, and you want me to talk.
I know. My bad. I could have pushed a button.
Yeah, I know. What do we want to come back to? Let's go back here. Yeah, he was saying that he was working inside the DNC, basically, and working with the just the Democrats. I'm trying to remember because I ran that in the weekly news I do.
Illegal.
Yeah. I forget, but it's I don't know. I wasn't even listening to it. I was doing other stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was another James O'Keefe's thing where they caught this guy on camera talking about how he's this and that, and he's going to take down
FBI.
He's going to. I want to say he was going to take down Trump or something was going to go on, and then they confronted him, and he's like, "You're a liar." He's like, "I got you on video, dipshit. I have your words
basically
on
a
video."
military, Democratic run military coup. Basically,
yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the Trump inaugural speech. Phenomenal shit.
Yeah, where are we going?
It's awesome. Let's go to what are you gonna say, Patrick?
That kind of stuff needs to be exposed. People like that need to be exposed.
100%. Let's go to 10.
Fired.
Let's go to 1047 and hear Trump talk about declaring emergency on the border.
Okay.
1047.
Clap. Somewhere in here.
With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense.
Common
it's all
sense.
about common sense.
Common sense. Okay.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
Okay, and I want you to cut over to me. Pause it there, Tim.
You're gonna make this all nice and easy.
I am going to make it nice and easy, buddy. Cut over to me. There it is, right there. Number 1, Trump declares national emergency at the border. This move empowers the Secretary of Defense to deploy military forces quickly and redirect federal resources to address the border crisis. There it is, right there.
Build that wall.
Signing it.
Build the wall.
Not only build that wall, look at the second one. Trump ends catch and release. Is that in this part of the
he
side?
says it. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know if he says it like right now, but he says it.
Okay. And we will end the horrible way of catch and release. Done. It's over.
We're still talking about the emergency at the
We're
border.
gonna clap forever.
To be honest with you, I think the United States government should turn around and sue Joe Biden for all of the wall that he sold at 10 cents on the dollar.
Oh yeah, you went off.
It should be held
Good point.
accountable. 100%.
He should be held personally liable.
Personally liable. I mean, he's got a lot of money, 10% to the big guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Tim, continue.
Yeah, it's actually 2 cents on the dollar, and they wanted to sell it back at 200 cents on the dollar.
Oh yeah.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
All aliens.
All right, look at
We
this
will
one.
Reinstate my remain in Mexico policy.
100%. There it is. So catching up. Number 2 on here on this list, Trump ends catch and release. Okay, that's a policy that allowed migrants to enter illegally and then go, oh yeah, just show up to court later.
Yeah.
But here's what he just mentioned or just said. Trump reinstates the remain in Mexico policy. This requires asylum seekers to remain in Mexico while their claims are being processed. You know what happens in Mexico? You have 20 days or you go back to your country of origin. Either you go across the northern border or you go back to your country of origin.
Why is Mexico letting them in the first place?
They let them in and they go, you got 20 days to get the fuck back out of our country.
They think they're going to go across the border.
100%. And now, just as Trump did in the first term, he's going to make sure that they don't even make that process. He puts so much pressure on it's a very famous speech that statement that he's made several times in several speeches where he says, and I talked to Mexico and I said, look, you're going to put your own troops on our border and you're going to keep people from coming across. And he said, no, we're not. And he said, okay, I want to put a bunch of tariffs on you and I'm going to cut this off and cut that off. And you're not getting any more of our money to supplement you. Yeah. And he says, 10 minutes later, I get a phone call and they're deploying their troops. So he's going to do this shit again. The next one here, I think he talks about it, but Trump, number 4, resumes the border wall construction and probably went and slapped the shit out of that little fucker that tried to get it for, what do you say, 2 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, 2 cents or even less on the dollar, and then sell it back at 200 cents on the dollar.
Dude, that guy needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
For I don't know if you want to call it war profiteering, because it is a war on our country.
Yeah.
But that fucker needs to go to jail, dude. I mean, how unscrupulous of a piece of shit do you have to be?
Yeah.
Continue.
Of catch and release.
Oh, he just said it there.
Yeah, catch and release.
Yeah, let me back it up.
Places from which they came. We will reinstate my remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release.
There it is. Let's bump.
And I will send troops to the southern border.
Hell yeah.
To repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
There it is. Let's go ahead and skip ahead to 1210, Tim.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be
that's in 6
designating the cartels as foreign terrorist
That's what
organizations.
Yeah,
the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
Okay. I didn't see the end time on my page. I saw it.
Yeah, I had dashes on my index.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Now, this is huge. So
this is huge. So
what's that mean?
Yeah. So look at number 5 here on my on the Twitter feed, on the X feed. Trump designate cartels as global terrorists. This designated allows for tougher measures to target cartel operations. This is no longer going to be,
It's not going to be the police versus the cartel.
Correct. And
It's
this
gonna be the
isn't
federal
going to
government
be
versus
like the
cartels.
DEA just dealing with drugs and dealing with, smuggling, which the human trafficking, it hasn't worked. Now it's going to be the military under the commander in chief saying, you know what? We're done with you.
It's kind of like Muammar Gaddafi. You remember that?
I remember.
You remember that?
I remember Gaddafi. Yeah.
Yeah, where they.
I remember how they died. How he
Yeah,
died.
yeah. A missile in his house.
That wasn't Gaddafi. You're thinking of what was the guy?
That wasn't Gaddafi.
Well, Reagan did shoot missiles at his
Gaddafi
house.
was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He didn't kill.
Clinton
killed
killed
his kids.
Gaddafi.
Yeah, he killed his kids.
Yeah.
That was Saddam.
No, that was Gaddafi too.
They killed his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also killed.
They killed Saddam's kids too.
Well, I think of this but it unleashes this whole thing of you want to be a threat to our country,
right?
Be it drugs, human trafficking, violence. We got these violent fucking gangs, these Venezuelan gangs, these other things like that. He's like, because we think of these cartels, we automatically think of Mexico, but he's talking about across the board.
Uh-huh.
Right.
These cartels.
Yeah, all of them.
And you've got these fuckers, these Venezuelan gangs that are taking over whole entire apartment complexes and communities in Colorado and all these other places. And their inept leftist pieces of shit governors won't step up and their mayors won't step up and protect their people. So Trump's like, you know what? We're going to designate them global terrorists.
So
I'm going to take them the fuck out.
Yeah, that was my reference to Gaddafi. How they just went to his house and dropped a bomb on it, and they can do the same thing with these terrorist drug cartels because they're terrorists now, just like Hamas, just like Trump took out ISIS. Biden rebuilt ISIS, but Trump had taken out ISIS. Yeah. They were
Here's the thing. Biden is responsible for empowering these cartels.
100%.
Biden's responsible for a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We could do a whole show on just some of the stuff Biden did and focus on nothing else. I mean, it's just the list is endless.
Yeah.
Right.
Biden is directly responsible for all these fentanyl deaths in the country.
Yeah, absolutely,
every single one.
Yeah, because he let it.
The
he let it
rapes
happen.
and the murders.
Because
these,
at a minimum, he let it happen.
Right.
At a minimum.
MS-13.
That's a huge one. The rapes and murders of these gangs.
Yes.
You have court cases where people have gone to jail because they facilitated somebody else committing the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Joe Biden exempt? Did he pardon himself on the way out like he pardoned the rest of his family?
He forgot to.
I
He
think
forgot to pardon his wife.
When the president does it, it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. But yeah, and that's a whole other story because the more research and the more that I see, I've come full circle in the last few years. Nixon was set up by the CIA because he wouldn't play ball. He wasn't involved in the assassination of Kennedy. And he wasn't involved.
No, I didn't know he was. I didn't know there was any indication that he was.
Well, because he became the next president after LBJ.
So that's what they were trying to say.
Yeah,
really, I never heard that.
Well, that's the thing
he benefited
about Nixon is all right.
Well, LBJ benefited first.
Yeah, LBJ
and
did
according
it.
to Nixon, or according to
I think LBJ
Roger Stone's book, he was the one who orchestrated.
Yeah,
it.
but the nice thing is he's going to release all these papers, so we're going to find out.
We'll find out.
The tape's already been released.
Yeah, the tape's been released.
The recording
of
the DNC
Cotton guy,
leader of the head of the DNC, talking with
the cotton farmer that was getting the cotton whatever allotments.
About
in Texas.
What is it? Max Knowles or Max?
Yeah, and the famous statement is 2 days before the assassination, LBJ is recorded with or quoted from a private meeting where he says that
John,
son of a bitch
will never
that
embarrass.
son of a bitch Kennedy will never embarrass me again. Yep. And then he was taken out.
Yeah.
So LBJ was behind it.
LBJ said
I
a lot
I
too.
would doubt it. He did a lot of nasty shit, especially
it's
his
now on tape.
special comment about I'll have them voted for me for the next 40 years.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't in line with that.
Yeah.
He wasn't in line with civil rights in any way, shape, or form. he said, "You know what? I don't give two fucks about these people."
It was a power play for him.
100%.
That's it.
And it's been
no different than the Democrats today.
The Democrats have been doing that power play for years.
Yep.
Right.
You know, it's amazing that has played out the way it has, because there are people in the black community to this day that will walk in there and mark D on their thing without a second thought that
I know plenty of them. Trust me,
they're being played.
And I go, and they look at you like you did something wrong.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy with two heads, you know.
So Trump emergency on the border declaration. He's doing that. Catch and release is over. He's doing all that. Let's move forward into inflation and stuff like that. But I do want to point this one out on my screen. Trump suspends refugee settlements for 4 months.
Settlement.
That's number 6 on this list.
I missed that one.
So refugee settlements for 4 months, meaning if you are a refugee seeking settlement in this country,
asylum or whatever,
it's suspended for 4 months until we sort this shit out. To
Bye
find
bye.
out if you're actually a refugee or if you're some fucking Somali pirate coming in here to rape the country. Okay, we're gonna figure out whether you're legit or not. And then number 7 here. He changes the birthright citizenship rules. Now, this is one that really got them crying.
Oh yeah, they're going to sue over that
one. Well, they are, but see, here's the thing.
They're not justified.
The 14th Amendment was written by Senator Hall. He was a Michigan
that was
senator.
for the former slaves.
Yes, correct.
It didn't apply to illegals.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Fast forward 150 years,
And
it
he
doesn't apply.
spoke
170
specifically
years.
of this.
Yeah.
And he said that when he was during the ratification process of this amendment, he spoke of this and specifically said this does not apply to illegals.
Right. Well, and that's what Trump's echoing here in this statement. We're not playing the video, but you can see the video there. It says the 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to those born in the U.S., but Trump's order challenges that interpretation.
Well, because
meaning you can't sneak across our fucking border illegally, have a kid in one of our hospitals because we have a Hippocratic oath to take in anybody.
No, that's not what it says, because the whole thing says you have to be subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Correct.
Hello.
And they're not subject to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't sneak across, have a kid.
Anchor baby.
They call them anchor. That's the term. I was just going to say anchor babies. It's like that is abhorrent to our whole system of laws in this country.
Right.
You can't violate a law in order to then have access to another law.
Yeah.
Well, my wife used to be a director at Garden City Hospital, and they had at the time all these women that were flying in and going.
Oh, I heard about
even from the Middle East. Well, they were flying in from the
but
yes.
but you're
yes,
right.
but it was the
different areas.
Middle East most of all, coming in
because it's real close to Deer Barn.
Yeah, 8.5 months pregnant.
Yep.
Right.
Having their baby.
And they come here and have their anchor baby.
Yep.
And then they get back on their plane and then they go back to the Middle East.
And you know what?
And they have their anchor.
What's so interesting about that dichotomy is then you have people that have 2 natural born American citizens who serve in the military or in the Peace Corps or something like of that nature, who are then born on foreign soil. Okay, so they're on a base in what's the?
It could be Germany or something.
Right, Germany. But I was thinking of Japan. What's the one in Japan? Okinawa.
Okinawa. Yeah.
Okay, so they're born. So they're there, stationed in Okinawa. There's a difficulty with the pregnancy. They go to the actual hospital outside of the military base.
Then they give them shit.
And then when that kid, they question their birth, the birth origin.
But they were still born to American citizens.
Correct, but they're not. They're not. So what I'm saying is,
they're not native-born Americans.
They fought on the other side of this 14th Amendment. There's been so many times that they fought the other side of it, saying, "Wait, your parents were born here, but you were born off base,"
which is bullshit.
So you're not natural. And they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
Somebody flies in here at 8.5 months pregnant, has a kid here,
you give it to them,
and you give it to them, but you're gonna fight this military family that didn't. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so there's the birthright citizen changes. I mean, he does this stuff. So we saw this number 8, the troops deployed to the border. He's already signed that. troop orders, enhanced border vetting. I think that goes back to the things that Biden suspended, which means if you come across with a baby, they're going to do a quick DNA check. And if you're not related to that kid, you're fucking done. And then I think, so now we're getting into censorship. So
I thought he was just shutting.
By the way, 22 states have filed lawsuits in order to stop.
Oh, absolutely.
And
22, that many?
Yeah, and this is exactly what it's designed to do. This needs to go to the Supreme Court, and it needs to be interpreted properly.
Correct, and it needs to be adjudicated in such a way that it's unequivocal from this point forward. That
but I'm a little afraid because I don't necessarily trust a couple of people on the Supreme Court.
I don't trust them either, except for the fact that Trump has such a mandate that they're going to capitulate.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I still don't know.
Yeah,
you think Roberts is going to oppose Trump right now?
Oh yeah.
I would doubt it.
Twice
Yeah.
on Sunday. And
I mean,
Amy
we know the
Comey-
one
Amy
chick.
Comey Barrett is also another wild card.
She's a retard.
And also, what's his name? Crap, the one that went to the whole rape accusation.
Kavanaugh.
Thank you.
Kavanaugh, I'm not so sure, but see, here's the thing.
How many things are there, by the way?
Constitutionally,
It's like his fifth thing. This is the thing. It's like
Oh,
his
is this?
seventh.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, constitutionally, if you look up, what the author, which amendment was that? Is that the 14th Amendment?
14th Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy that defined what it was about.
Correct.
Back when they ratified the amendment.
Yeah.
And he was clear in his language. What it was for. It was specifically, for the slaves that were born here to be recognized as citizens.
Correct.
To make sure they had all their rights.
And here's the difficulty too, guys. And I want to point this out, not in defense, but in clarification or acknowledgement of it, is that the justices, especially the Supreme Court, but all the other lower courts, all the other things, they can only adjudicate. They can only make a decision based on the information that is presented to them. Now, if there's a bunch of bullshit going on and you got Democrats that are messing with everything so that they muddy the waters, that's one dynamic all on its own. But sometimes, and I've read through some of the cases that have gone through the Supreme Court can only judge. They can't go, well, you didn't present this to us, but I also read such and such, and I took that into account, and now I'm going to make my judgment here. They have to make their judgments based on what is presented to them from both sides.
Really?
That is the most difficult thing.
So
if there's a shitty case brought by good people, and they have to judge according to their best interpretation of what's presented to them, there's sometimes where our good justices on the Supreme Court have in our eyes rendered the incorrect verdict because they had to render the verdict within the parameters.
I think it's called case law.
It's
case law
within the parameters of the case presented to them. And that's one of the most difficult things. Trump was never defeated in all of his 2020 election challenges. There was not a single defeat because all of them were kicked out on the merits of standing. They had no standing. That is a flaw of those who brought the cases. And there were some good lawyers, but because they didn't have the time to put together a proper case and present it with the right merits, the judges were right in kicking every one of them out because the merits did not allow for the case to be heard. And we don't ever hear, or the vast majority of us don't hear, of the amount of cases that the Supreme Court refuses to hear.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah.
Because the merits of the case do not rise to the place that they would even consider weighing in on it. And that's part of the difficulty. But that's why we need our government taken back, because our government is supposed to be so strong, and our judicial system is supposed to be so strong that we would rather see 100 guilty men go free than one innocent man be convicted. And the pendulum has swung to the other side, where we see 100 innocent men convicted and one guilty guy just leaving office. So
Yeah.
those are dynamics that I take into account when I look at some of the verdicts that have been rendered specifically from the Supreme Court. You just had the Ninth Circus, which is notoriously fucking liberal.
Yeah.
Just rule on two
Once in a while, yeah.
Two landmark cases.
Yeah.
And I look at that and go, these guys were, for the most part, constrained by the parameters of the case presented to them and could really only render the correct judgment because to do otherwise would have demonstrated that they went beyond the bounds of the case, and that's not correct judicial appropriation for what they're doing. So that's the dynamic we're looking at, and it's difficult because we want these cases. We know what's going on. That's the reason Roe versus Wade was first put in place, and it's the reason it was overturned, is because of the judicial parameters that was presented.
There's probably a little bit of activism there too, though.
Well, to a certain extent, but when you really study the cases, what they were presented with,
well, actually,
and what they were then presented with, the activism
was in Roe versus Wade. That's where all the activism was.
But they were not, the judges were not allowed to investigate whether the client was legitimate. They weren't allowed to do their own judicial investigation. They had to go with what the evidence that was presented to them, the testimonies that were given to them, and based on that.
But it's still not constitutional, no matter what.
True.
Because it's not in the Constitution.
True, but part of the judiciary is to interpret what the Constitution may or may not apply to, and you will have judges that
they have their biases.
So think about this. Think about this. Most of our conservative look at Trump. Trump could have done so much more in his first term. In retrospect, but not having the experience that he has now. But he could have done so much if he didn't constrain himself.
Well, he tried to follow the law.
Not only tried, I think to a fault.
Yeah.
Followed the law.
Yeah.
100%. He would not have walked into office in 2016 and done the executive orders that he's done now. He walked into office and said, you know what? I'm not waiting for fucking Congress. I'm going to, he had all of these things drafted and
they were ready to rock.
Ready to go day one. And
200 of them.
Dude, within like minutes, he walked from the Capitol to the arena. Signed 10 of them.
I mean, but it's no different, right? The Democrats did the same thing when Biden came in.
But
not that quick.
But they weren't as effective though when they did.
Not as quick. Biden took.
Well, they had a few. I mean,
Biden signed the Keystone Pipeline, revoked the Keystone Pipeline permits like 10 seconds after he walked off the platform.
And the same one with Remain in Mexico, all that. He did that day one.
Yeah, day one.
So I mean, so they have the things that they want. You know that, but I think Trump was a little bit more proactive. He was a little bit
hesitant.
Huh?
And
no, I mean this time he was
right.
proactive.
And
he was on top of it.
I'm contrasting is that the judges that we have on the conservative side tend to constrain themselves.
I agree.
According to the law. Obviously, President Trump constrains himself according to the law, whereas the liberals don't constrain themselves according to the law. They just keep pushing forward.
They just don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
The law doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply to them. And so so I think what we're seeing now is President Trump coming in here going, you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. These executive orders, because there is quite a bit of debate when you dive into the legal theaters over how constitutional these executive orders are, because the president really isn't supposed to have the authority to implement law. That's supposed to be to the.
It's only supposed to be for financial matters, financial things.
And like even declarations of war, he has what 60 or 90 days after he deploys troops to then he's supposed to go get a declaration of war from Congress. And
that never happened.
That hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened in whatever.
That hasn't happened since Kennedy.
Yeah,
it hasn't happened since World War II. Really, Kennedy. All right, Tim, where are we at? We're at. I put my glasses down. Let's do that. Let's get into inflation, energy. We're at is that 1320? Let's do that. And I didn't hear your mic on. I don't know if you clicked on it. 1320. Let's just hear the inflation.
To marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices.
Mm-hmm. Pause it there.
Now,
I want to address this.
How exactly is that going to happen? Outside of oil, what other knobs do we have? I know. Well, there's a thing about.
Well, he stopped all
your mic's off.
spending to any other country for 90 days.
Well, okay, the spending too.
Yeah.
But I also, like I said, there's things, the bans they had on appliances and all those other things, right?
Question: what do you mean outside of oil? Because oil is literally
No, I'm
the
saying outside
linchpin.
of beyond that. He said all departments, right? So
correct.
So I know the oil is the main thing. Don't get me
Right,
wrong. I'm not
right.
saying that's not.
It affects
But I mean,
everything else.
he made it sound there's some other knobs that can be turned. If
So
I'm
he's
trying to
saying
understand.
Trump made it sound like there's other than oil. So that's part of my question. So I had a conversation with a number of guys after hockey this past week, yesterday, and they were asking the same question, and they said, "What about that?" So I said, "Well, you're going to immediately see, you're going to immediately see the oil.
Yeah, oil, no doubt. We know that.
Now that's going to trickle through.
Yeah,
that's going to trickle through. But I think you're going to get Kennedy in to do away this H1N1 bullshit, this bird flu bullshit, because we know it's another staged bunch of garbage." Yeah. So my buddy was in here and he's like, "Man,
don't eat bird shit."
He's like, egg prices are gonna do it. There's only been one case in America of sickness, and that was a dude that had like
had birds in the house,
20 ducks in the fucking house.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's one case where a guy died in the UK who had chickens living in the house with him.
Well,
it's like, what,
basically, don't eat bird shit, you'll be fine.
If I take you to my wood shop right now and I don't have you put on a simple dust mask and we start moving wood around right there, I go into my wood shop and forget to put a simple dust mask on my face.
All the mouse shit in there.
And the dust on the old wood, I got wood in here that's 80 years old. All right? If I start cutting that wood, there's fucking dust on it that if I breathe it in,
mold and whatnot in there.
It's got mold, it's got all sorts of shit on it.
Plus-
it's just
plus mouse shit too.
plus mouse shit, bird shit, all that stuff. So it stands to reason. But again, I'm looking at this situation. Oil is number one. Reopening the Keystone Pipeline immediately.
I don't think that one's coming back.
I think Keystone's going to open up right away. But here's the thing. And he said it
because they said they pretty much trashed all the supplies for that.
Let him talk.
All right, let's go ahead and play it, and then I want to dive into
I'm
that.
trying to remember what he says next, but he says a bunch of shit right
He
here.
says some stuff, yeah.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices. And that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
Pause it there, Tim. And I want to point this out, and he says it later in here, and it goes up, it kind of flies over everybody's head. And it did for me. And we don't need to go to the clip. We'll get to it eventually, or we'll just go past it. But at 21 minutes in the speech, he says, we're going to change from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And I went, what? Now, I get Mount McKinley. We want to honor our President McKinley.
Go back to where
and go back to where it was, right? From
I heard that Biden signed an executive order shutting down any drilling within the Gulf of Mexico.
Correct.
So Trump said, okay, but we're just going to change the name to the Gulf of America. Why not? We have more shoreline on the Gulf of Mexico than Mexico does.
Yes.
So
Correct.
we're going to make it the Gulf of America. He
Correct.
can have his executive order, because in order for him to flip an order like that, I think he had to get the
There's a
buy-in
whole-
from Congress.
Well, what it was the Biden put in a national ban, ban on any drilling or something like that. It was something so sweeping that it would take so much time to relieve it. Whereas an executive order to change the name,
Yeah.
done. Now the phone call, he goes, I signed an executive order. We change it to the Gulf of America. The next phone call is, go ahead and start drilling again. Because there's no violation then, and it really comes back to what I love about that is it's the semantics or the word play. you know, and when you can come back to the wordplay and go, all right, we're just going to go, oh, we got to do this. The brilliance of President Trump to come up with that.
It's the legalese.
And to go, you know what?
Well, yeah, but that's those are the
Can't
games
drill
that are played, right?
You can't drill in the Gulf of Mexico. But could you drill in the Gulf of America? Let's do that. You know, I did like the fact that Trump in this whole speech, his inauguration speech, never used the term bullshit. He saved it much later, and he used it very well.
Yeah,
I love it.
Do you know the other thing it does?
What?
Is it psychologically kicks the president's ass, kicks her right in the ass, the president of Mexico, who's a libtard, is not wanting to work with him to keep the legal immigrants from coming into Mexico and coming into the United States. She wants to be a little bit of a bitch and push against him.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, no.
Well, he also signed tariffs that go into effect February 1st too against Mexico.
February 1st. Yeah. Was it 25%?
Yep.
Against Mexico and Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll, if Trudeau's not gone, because Trudeau said he was resigning and now he's capitulating. He's backing up.
He said he's resigning once they find a replacement.
Yeah. I got a replacement. There's a fucking squirrel over in a tree eating on a nut that's got more fucking integrity than you, you piece of shit.
His concept was, well, just make Canada the 51st state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a state.
No, thank you.
I think it should
Just be a territory.
Yeah.
Make it a territory.
Yeah.
Like we used to have Indonesia.
That was just a troll, basically.
Yeah. It was a total troll.
Yeah.
But I do like, here's the thing I do like about Greenland.
Greenland makes sense.
There's only like 45,000 people there.
Yeah.
And they're for it.
Yeah.
They're for it.
Yeah.
And who controls it? The Netherlands? Who owns it? Not the Dutch, because that's the Netherlands.
Not Dutch. Shit. Danish.
Yeah, that's it.
So the Danes. Denmark.
Yeah.
So Denmark owns it, and they're like, yeah, you can have it.
Yeah.
And for strategic purposes and for the benefit of those people, there's plus, there's no minus.
Yeah.
We don't incur a whole bunch of debt.
Yeah.
We have a piece of landmass that is advantageous for us for military purposes and for strategic or for shipping and stuff, like shipping and fishing. That's what I was thinking of. There's a whole bunch of pluses in that. There's no minuses on that. Make them a territory, not another state, because they only have 45,000 people or something like that, or 40. It's very small.
Yeah.
What's the threshold for statehood? It's like 500,000 or something like that. I can't remember.
No idea.
Anyways, all right, Tim, let's continue with this. Inflationary energy. We're cutting shit.
What time? Same time?
We were at 320 or 1320, so you should be at like 1350 right now. Yeah. They were clapping. They appreciated it.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it.
Let's pause there. I want to capitalize on this because this is so huge. This is so huge. You have to do Alex goes, pause it there, back it up 5 seconds. Anyway, most people don't realize that the United States we have more oil than any other nation in the world.
Yeah, and we found, because of new technology, we can even find oil in the wells we had, the old wells, right?
Well, and that's the whole bullshit.
Plus the new stuff.
Correct, and that has been the bullshit of peak oil.
Yeah,
they talked about peak oil. They also got it designated as fossil fuels. I refuse to use the term fossil fuels anymore because it's never been fossil fuels. Oil as a hydrocarbon has always been a natural repopulating resource within the earth. Yeah. That God has destined there. There were wells that they said would go dry. Some of them they pumped until they were dry. And then they came back 20 years later and found that they were full again.
With new technology. Well, plus new technology.
Well, new technology, but they were also full again because they over pumped them.
Yeah.
And then they left them dormant and they came back 20 years later and they filled back up. This idea that they were fucking dinosaurs is bullshit.
What are you doing debunking liberal lies with facts? What's the matter with you?
It wasn't just liberalized; it was crony capitalism that said,
Well,
"There's peak oil. We're gonna run out someday. So let's jack up the fucking prices and make everybody make everything
just the
obsolete."
oil sands, just the oil sands up in Canada,
Yeah,
is enough to supply the entire world for 100 years. Just the oil sands. That doesn't include the rest of Canada or what we got
right
here in the United States or what they're sitting on over there in Saudi Arabia.
The Great Plains
this whole thing is
Well, that's all over
about
this country.
It's
Yeah.
all about control and nothing else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And nothing else. It's all
Correct.
about controlling the people, limiting our freedoms, taking our rights away. They
It's-
don't want us traveling. They don't want us living any kind of extravagant lifestyle. They'll do that for us.
Well, that's what electric vehicles are all about.
Yeah,
Control-
and that's
control.
another
Control.
thing.
Yeah.
That's another executive order he
Yeah.
signed. No more Biden electric junk mandates.
correct.
Gone.
And that's
And what they need to do is also need to make sure that there are no tax incentives to buy these electric cars.
correct.
That needs to go out the way.
If you want to buy an electric
Well,
car, it should stand on its merit.
Go
Why
buy
do
an
you need a
electric car.
discount to buy something that none of us want?
And that's always been my perspective. I'm not against them necessarily. I am personally, but if you want to buy it, fine.
Right.
But the point is, make your case. Let the free market decide.
Correct.
That's my only thing.
100%.
Same thing with the green energy bullshit. If you think that if that's
right,
if it's as good as you say it is,
right,
let the market decide.
And he pointed that out later when he talked about this Green New Deal being fucking gone.
Yeah.
And he said, look at the you had 2 whales in 20 years that died, and now we've had like 16 whales that are fucking dead in this past year because of these fucking windmills, and they're useless. And we buy most of the components from fucking China. What are we doing?
And then you can't recycle them either.
No, they're non-recyclable. Yeah. Tim, continue with this. We're still talking about inflation and the energy.
Use it. Let me use it.
We're gonna do it.
We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world.
All right, so pause it there. I don't know where he's going. The question you asked, Norris, is the question we all have. Apart from opening up the oil and doing that, where is he going to? Yeah, no, we're still alive. Apart from that, where are we? What significant is going to happen? I think that's going to be the most significant. I know we've talked about it on the show. I know personally that there are people that work at Myers or some of the other places where they used to have a partial truck. And Larry knows this logistically, driving truck in the wintertime, that if you have a truck that's got, if you can fill it partially up, you deliver what you've got and you drive back. Money got so tight with the higher gas prices that they said, unless the truck is full, we're not sending the truck. Now, this is not talking about, a lot of times this isn't talking about a independent contractor loading up at a dock and then delivering, and he's got to deal with his own fuel costs. This is talking about Meyer specifically, their own trucks coming from their distribution hubs, and they're saying, if our truck isn't full, we're not delivering anything to our own local stores. This is all inside the company, and they're saying we can't afford any longer to send out partially loaded trucks. We have to have fully loaded trucks. So when we walk into Meyer and we go, why is this whole fucking shelf empty? And it's because they would say, oh, we didn't get that delivery. Well, what happened was the behind the scenes information
effective for them to do it.
is they were losing so much money on the fuel that they couldn't deliver that specific line of products in a time, the right time to fill the shelf back up. So they had to wait until that truck was full. So instead of us getting our normal deliveries on a certain day, because we know pretty much where our store, when we get different deliveries at our store, they were delaying those deliveries because they couldn't fill them up and it was costing too much in fuel. That hits home immediately.
Absolutely.
Now, I look at that and go, now Trump's going to open up the oil. We're what, not even 48 hours into his presidency officially, right? And this is the first full day today. The oil is going to be, drill baby drill is going to be Open. We're going to see how quickly that goes. I still looked at the pump today. It didn't really drop from yesterday.
It takes a bit. It's going to take a bit to filter through.
Well, here's
But
the,
there's also the futures markets you have to.
correct. And here's the dirty little secret about the petroleum, local pumps. Let's put it that way. The gas stations. A gas station will immediately increase its price.
Absolutely.
And they will take a week to
Slow
decrease
to bring
the
it
price.
down, right? You got to pay for that new load.
That's exactly right. And I don't fault them in that. Is they have to buy wholesale at a certain price. That if they have to buy wholesale at a higher price, they will immediately bring their price up at the pump. Even though their last wholesale was cheaper, they know they have to absorb the cost of the new wholesale. And so they will increase their prices for that newest wholesale price. Then the next wholesale may come down, but they're still absorbing the cost of the last higher wholesale. And so they will trickle that down because it may take them 2 or 3 wholesale cycles to really start dropping their prices. That's why you see price increases go up immediately and price decreases come down
slowly.
They use what's called LIFO accounting practices. LIFO stands for last in, first out.
Correct.
Okay. So, if they had a truck come in last week and the price per gallon was $2, okay.
Yeah.
Now this week that comes in and it's $4. They got to raise their price to $4 because that's the last one that went in.
Correct.
And otherwise,
and that's pretty much Michigan state law.
Yeah.
Let alone other state laws.
Well,
is that you're not allowed to gouge, but whatever your wholesale is, you can be within those margins.
Right.
So there's dynamics there. Then we'll see how that plays out with the rest of the commodities. Right. I looked at plywood prices when I walked through today. It was still like $14.50 for a sheet of half inch.
It's going to take a
OSB.
bit. Yeah.
It's going to take time to trickle down, but I think that Trump is going to be so aggressive on these things that he's going to put pressure on. I don't see him pulling.
Let's deal with reality. We're so far into this shit tank that it's going to take us a while to dig out.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. But I think he wants to see so many things implemented immediately. I don't think it's beyond him to pull in a whole bunch of CEOs of different industries, different groups, and say, get your ass in here. Listen, you're going to make money. Drop your costs now. You see what I'm doing? You see the gas coming down? You see this going down? Drop your costs right now across the board in your respective industry or your market. And I guarantee you're going to make money. And those CEOs know this fucking CEO is trustworthy when he gives his word. I think you're going to see that. I'm just speculating that I think you're going to see something like that in order to combat that slow change that we're talking about, that slow trickle down effect. I think Trump could be able to. I mean, this dude had a fucking agreement come in his first term for the HVAC equipment. Remember that? The HVAC equipment manufacturers were overseas, and before he was even in office, he had them brought back and were manufacturing furnaces and stuff back here in America immediately. Yeah. And so he's already done some stuff like that. Continue, Tim, with the inflation.
And one more thing in regard to inflation. Remember the longshoreman strike?
Yeah.
Sounds like they settled already.
Oh, they already settled. Yeah. Yeah. He's going to straighten
I wonder why.
He's going to straighten that down.
A rich nation again.
Rich
and
nation.
It is that liquid gold under our feet.
Yes.
That will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers.
I heard somebody bitch when he was anti-union. That's bullshit. Put some proof in here.
Yeah.
In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice.
Which was a Henry Ford pledge.
We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote.
Then he gets
I will
into
immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect
this is
American
awesome.
workers
And here's
and
the external.
families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
Yeah, I love that.
Let's pause it there.
Yeah, this is
well, he's gonna go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry. I paused you just a second.
We are establishing the External Revenue Service.
Right there, pause it.
To collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury.
And that's the way it should. That's
the way it used to
that's
be.
the constitutionality of it. There should have been established an external revenue service from day one, but they didn't see the bloatedness and the overreach of this bureaucracy. But that's what they put in the Constitution, is that levying tariffs and what's the other one? It's not just tariffs; it's tariffs and is it excise taxes, something like that. But it's all external. And I don't know what he's going to do with oil, the liquid gold under our feet. But if you follow the Alaskan model, and better yet, if you follow as much of a piece of shit as Saddam was and as much of a piece of shit as Gaddafi was, both of them nationalized their oil reserves and used that as revenue for the whole nation. And Gaddafi had, by the
that's
time,
a lot of most of the Middle Eastern countries do.
correct, but the time that Gaddafi was taken out, part of the reason he was taken out was because, yes, he was a dictator at the beginning. He was a military coup and stuff like that. But when he was taken out, it's because he no longer played ball with the United States. And they had the best schools, the best infrastructure, the best. If you got married, you got a year off, paid by the government. What was it paid? How was it paid? It wasn't siphoning off the other guy fucking working his ass off. It was oil.
Yeah.
And we've got more oil in this country than anywhere else in the world. There's no reason that our oil reserves should not only equalize and not be taxing our citizens, but all should be paying us a dividend, just like they do in Alaska, in this country. We shouldn't be paying for electricity. We shouldn't be paying for gas, for natural gas for our homes. That we should get a statement every 3 months, 6 months saying, you as a natural born citizen, here's the revenue that our country took in, and this took care of all of your stuff. And then if you're a business, maybe there's a subsidy or a rider on it that says you consumed this much. Here's your obligation to honor the people of this. But as far as a citizen, here's your allotment, because we have this revenue share in this country, and here's how much you used. You actually get 20% back because you didn't use all of the electricity or the natural gas that you were allotted being a citizen, being involved in the shared revenue of this country. Here's a check for you because you cut back your own expenditures. Fuck yeah. You based on your size of your house, however they fucking work it out. But so much better, so much more efficient, honoring the people. I can see him doing that because he's such a businessman that honors that type of thing. And for him going, why are we taxing our citizens to enrich other fucking countries when we should be taxing other countries to enrich our citizens?
Yeah, exactly.
But they never cared about the
under his first administration, we were exporting to 15 major industrial countries, as well as zeroing out our own. Why the fuck can't we make all sorts of money?
Well, I like what he said about TikTok.
He's like, it's fine, but American companies own it.
Yeah, we own. Well, he said the United States government's going to own 50% of it.
Correct, but there's clarifications in a couple of other speeches where he's like, they don't want to monopolize and have the government own it.
Yeah, I'd be a little concerned about that.
But you're right, Larry. Yeah, it's ownership. Let's go through these real quick, Tim. Time's getting short. We know at 1610, there's the Doge talking about the Department of Government Efficiency,
which Ramaswamy will no longer be a part of.
What? Yeah, because he's going to run for governor of Ohio. And that's fine.
Yeah,
I like Ramaswamy. Go ahead, Tim.
Coming from foreign sources, the American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. my administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Beautiful. Department of Justice, get rid of DEI.
Get the government out of speech.
Yeah. Is that at 1715? Let's go to that.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
That's a good
something
spot.
I know something about.
He does know about that.
Yeah, he does.
We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law.
100%. He talks about it. All right, we can pause it there. So he talks about it at 1715. He talks the speech talks about the Department of Justice getting rid of DEI.
Yes.
Bullshit. At 1900. Let's go to 1900. That's military time.
Yeah, that was huge.
That women. Where are the women?
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
Yes.
Question: will they come back?
And I believe they also his actual executive order. I'm scrolling through on my end over here. I believe that his executive order actually not only reinstates them with full back pay, but also gives them merit base. Whatever their rank would have been had they stayed in, they get that as well.
Yeah, but
which is an increase in
But
pay.
they still had to want to come back at that point, right?
Correct, but they would still be able to be honorably discharged of their own accord with that last highest rank they would have gotten had they left, which is very important for their pensions, whatever.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you're not just leaving at the rank that you said fuck you and I'm not taking this vaccine.
Yeah.
You're leaving at whatever rank today would be.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whether they opt out or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Last couple ones, and we're gonna get final thoughts here. At 23:30, is that what it is? The health of America. And I'm not big on the Mars, but whatever. You're gonna pass the ice wall to the Mars.
You know what? That's where a lot of technological innovation comes from.
It's true.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together, we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free.
Yeah.
The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
I don't know how the Martians are going to feel about that, but I get it.
And we're coming. Get over it.
And we didn't dive into it huge, but some
ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation.
It is.
And right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers.
Yes.
The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together,
That's
there is
so
nothing
eloquent.
we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback.
But they were fucking wrong.
But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
Yeah. And the douchebags to your left on the stage can go fuck themselves.
Ooh.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Did I say that?
Yeah. You get it.
Yeah. Jeremy said a bad word.
No, it's an adult word. Not a bad
I
word.
stand
It's an
before
Anglo-Saxon
you now
word.
as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do.
Yeah.
In America, the impossible is what we do best.
That's it right there. Let's pause it right there.
Yep.
We didn't get into Elon's salute that they're trying to satirize as a
Fake
Nazi thing. Fuck that
news.
shit. And the left doubles down on the speech, trying to say that it was all sorts of. You know what? Go fuck yourself. So let's do that. Final thoughts, gentlemen. Give me a final thought here.
Well, my final thought is that this is a new day. As he said, it's the golden age we're entering into. This is Liberation Day. It is definitely a new beginning. I feel like we're going to find prosperity and conservative values being spread throughout this country, actually throughout the world.
Yeah.
For probably not at least the next 4 years. I would have to say that's overly conservative. I'd say probably the next 12 at least, and maybe beyond that. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a long time before the
yeah.
Democrats and the evil prospers again in this country or anywhere else in the world.
They've been so exposed.
It's been so exposed, and people have voted. We've spoken. We've said our piece, and he's following up on it, and we're right in there with him. And I am again a proud American.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah, we got something to be proud of now. We have a president that's coherent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To begin with, as a start.
And
right?
awake.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And doesn't smell like a dirty diaper.
A dirty diaper. What do you want, Norris? Pick your color.
He didn't shit his pants.
My butt's been wiped. My butt's been wiped.
So yeah, this is definitely a beautiful day for America. It's a new beginning.
Yeah.
And God has given us a second chance, and we need to live up to it. We need to do our part to make sure that we are a moral and righteous nation.
100%.
So and that's what the founders said, right? The only way you're going to keep this republic is to be a moral, righteous people.
Right. We've given you a republic if you can keep it.
Yeah. So looking forward to the future, looking forward to the next 4 years and beyond.
Hell yeah.
And go President Trump.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You heard it first from our resident what are you, white supremacists? Or what?
Sure, whatever.
Yes, and I sent you
Those fucking things don't stick anymore.
Can you bring a tweet up that I
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
you
What'd you
for
send me?
I sent you a tweet from Kevin Rinke.
Okay. What did you send it to me over here? Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, Tim, you should have it now. I switched over. Happy that Ryan Kelly was pardoned by President Trump. He was a victim of the weaponization of our legal system. If he was guilty of anything, it was being a patriot. America's coming back to law and order. That is equal and appropriate. Good for Ryan, his family, and for @real Donald Trump. Very good.
Yes, that is a really, really good statement. A lot of people have been suffering because they love the country.
Yeah.
They've been suffering because they're Republicans. They've been suffering because, well, maybe they made a little bit of a mistake that maybe they should have had their hands slapped with a ruler and sent home with a fine, like any normal person would. Ryan,
I mean, being charged with trespassing instead of going to jail for
treat them
4
like they
years?
treated the BLM rioters.
Ryan Kelly
Oh,
was
shit.
charged with misdemeanor trespassing. They accused him of jumping on a scaffolding and entering a restricted area. Right?
Yeah, right.
Right. And then they put him in jail for 90 days.
Correct.
Away from
A
his
federal
family.
prison.
A federal prison.
Yeah.
A federal
Yeah.
gulag.
During Christmas time, if I'm not
Cost him
mistaken.
over $100,000.
Right. Right.
Right. In legal fees.
How about the duly impaneled
Right. And
Republican?
this is what a lot of people aren't realizing about what exactly we witnessed with the way these people were persecuted. And they're saying, well, they pled guilty. Well, a lot of the people that pled guilty took plea deals.
Correct.
They said, oh, we're going to give you 20 years in prison if you don't feel guilty.
Yep.
But if you plead guilty, we'll let you out in 6 months to a year.
Correct.
Right?
That is the
So,
strongest.
so they were coerced.
And that's what
Yep.
that's what plea deals are.
And they make you sign a statement saying you weren't coerced or obligated to
Yeah,
take
they make
the deal.
you lie.
They make you
But it's a
lie
lie,
to take the deal.
Yeah, you got it here. Here, you got to sign this.
We're going to take the rest. We're going to take the better part of 20 years of your life away unless you sign this, and you got to sign this paper saying that
whether you're
we
not
didn't
guilty
threaten
or
you.
not. Yeah.
Right. It's all a load of crap.
Now,
Right.
hopefully, that
It's all a load of crap, and all these people. Sure, there were some bad actors there that maybe should have got a little bit of time.
Maybe Ray Epps.
But some of these people, it's like that guy from the Proud Boys, right?
Tario.
Yeah,
Yes.
this Tario guy.
Yeah.
Right. They gave him 22 years. He wasn't even there.
Wasn't there?
Yeah. What the hell?
And they literally said in the trial that the lack of evidence is the evidence.
Yes.
Fuck you.
What the hell is that kind of bullshit?
If the lack of evidence is the evidence, then Biden should have been in prison before he took office.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, of course.
You
Give me
know,
that paper.
Since he gave
But-
him and his
But
family.
anyways, my final thought is enjoy the prosperity. It's well earned. You know, the country's gonna turn around. The Democrats can't stop it.
Yep.
And there's going to be some good things. You're going to see America unleashed and what we can do at our full capacity.
Yeah, just as long as we don't let them try to pull
and
another.
Trump isn't going to be holding back on anything.
Not anymore.
And all these pardons that Biden issued, he pardoned his family, he pardoned Fauci.
Fucking Fauci.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You know, I received the pardon, but I know I'm gonna rot in hell.
And then you got all the Jan 6 committee. They all got their pardons.
Yep.
Not the Jan 6 captives,
No.
the illegally incarcerated people
Right.
who were held without trial for
Right.
years
Uh-huh.
against the Constitution to
Right.
a fast and speedy trial.
Yeah.
The Jan 6 fucking committee gets a
Right.
pardon. Why do you got to have a pardon for being part of a committee if you're not a fucking guilty asshole?
Exactly.
Why do you need a unconditional pardon if you are not guilty at all?
Because they framed all those people.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They
Yeah.
framed all those people. It's like all these
Oh,
lies.
yeah.
They said insurrection. There was
Fake
no
news.
insurrection. If Trump would have really wanted an insurrection,
Oh, there would have been
overthrown the government.
Correct.
And they would have been successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
There was no weapons charges, and there were no felonies
right.
Yeah.
ever charged in
Yeah.
any of the 1,500 people. I had this up here.
Yeah, I love to see how you have an insurrection without fucking weapons.
Right. Go to this one real quick, Tim, as I go to my final thought. Full pardons for Jan 6 rioters. Trump signed for 1,500. I know it's 1,500 plus.
Yeah.
Jan 6 rioters, calling them hostages of political persecution.
Absolutely.
He also announced sentence commutations for others pending review. There are some people that don't want it to be dismissed because they want to fight it. And we
Right.
understand that 100%. They want to be exonerated and they want to be able to fight back. And if he gives them full pardons, then that removes their ability
Right.
to be able to fight back or to fight it in the courts.
There is a silver lining with the pardon.
What's that?
all those people that Biden pardoned can now be subpoenaed.
Yep.
Correct.
And they have to testify. They can't plead the Fifth Amendment.
Correct. Because
they don't have, they've been pardoned for the crime.
Right. So they have to testify.
So they have to testify.
Correct.
Because they
Correct.
all need the protection of the Fifth Amendment.
So there's that. We've got some huge things on the horizon, and it's because the American people fought back, finally woke up and fought back. So let's do this. I want us to stay visual and not pull our foot off the gas pedal. We need to stay at it because, as a number of people said, and I'm trying to remember who it was from InfoWars, but they said that we haven't won the war, but we've won the battle, and we actually started the war. And that's something we have to recognize, is that they have worked so hard to try to destroy this country and enrich themselves in the process and enslave the people of this nation, that we have to realize this is the first salvo. This was a great victory. This was awesome. We celebrated in the moment, but then we need to rally together once again and realize that the battle has just begun to bring a restoration to the freedom that our founding fathers fought so hard to do. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everything. Give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, all that jazz. Facebook has kind of shit the bed for us. Throw it in there. Yeah.
What is that? Is there a software problem or something?
Every time we go to log into it, it says the app's not available, shit like that. So, you know what? We're just going to focus on Rumble and whatever apps are out there. We'll see what's going on. Maybe Facebook fix it because Zuckerberg's trying to suck at the tit of Trump right now. We'll see what's up. But either way, appreciate you all tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. But one thing that I haven't started promoting that I need to promote, we are part of we're part of Alex Jones's InfoWars group. So if you go to thealexjonesshow.com or the Alex Jones store, thealexjonessstore.com/this is my brain. Any products you purchase there, which I purchase a shit ton of products there. Any products you purchase there, we get 10% of that purchase.
Oh, nice.
Okay. thealexjonessstore.com/this is my brain. We get anything. You buy a fucking t-shirt, you buy any of the supplements, and all of the supplements are awesome. I take 4 or 5 on a regular basis. Okay. They're all awesome. Go to thealexjonessstore.com/this is my brain and buy something. We get a shared revenue of that, and it benefits the show. I've upgraded a few pieces of equipment because I had the wherewithal to do it. I'll explain later. Another show is coming up. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and tuning. I don't know. Do we have the Tim's going to pull up that right now? It takes you to the exact same website as if you went to thealexjonessstore.com. But if you do thealexjonessstore.com/this is my brain, it comes to us. We get the part of the revenue in that. Helps him, helps us, and their products are awesome. They've been promoting the shit out of the CMOS. There's actually some survival gear on there, some knives that we've bought before, but I love the turmeric. I love the nitric boost. You can see it on there. I have the 1776 stickers are all over the place. The t-shirts are all over there. The wristbands, I thought we had them on the table, but there's wristbands there. But then all of the natural supplements are phenomenal. And all of that stuff is separate from Alex Jones's original InfoWars. So it's not involved in any of the lawsuits. What's that one? That's the turmeric. Is that the gummies? Yeah. The gummies, that's my next order. I've got a whole bunch of I've got like 2 bottles of the tablets. Did you get it? Did you find it, Norris? thealexjonessstore.com/this is my brain. Yeah, that's what Tim was able to load up. You guys will figure it out. But
it's just blank.
Oh, so it might be having trouble loading up. Anyways, guys, stay warm over the next couple of days. It's going to get fucking cold. We love you out there. Appreciate all the support you do on the show. Love our local community. Love everything you do. Check out our supports. Are you throwing up the QR codes if they want to do that? Either way, we are out of here. Love you guys. Catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one. Stay warm. Yes.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize